Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom, bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Gotta shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
What's up, guys? It is your girl T Gaines here. I don't know what you're doing at the moment, but my advice to you is to pop open a can and slam some suds with the Can Crushers.
A joyous hello and welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. That is Sir Michael Jenks with a sexy voice. I am Mark the Mark and Jenksy boy.
Marky boy.
We're probably going to get canceled this week.
Well, thanks for the warning. It's been a great run.
Probably piss people off this week. I'm in a good mood.
But you just want to poke the bear and get it.
I think I'm going to poke the bear this week.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't know why.
Oh, man.
Oh,
you know why.
Oh, I know why. Yeah, I personally know why. And not meaning like a thread on the internet or anything hit me. Something just got it all wound up this week, and I'm like, I need to let it out. I need to let it out. And this is going to be the week.
Sometimes it's that final straw. No matter how big, how small, it breaks your back. Breaks the camel's back.
It did. Joe Cool. Broken. Done. Remember Joe Cool from the Camel?
I do. Yeah, I do remember Joe Cool.
Before we get there, though, I do have to, and I probably have to talk to you after this. The Can Crushers podcast page on Facebook is going to go through some type of changes once I figure out how to get into settings, if I'm not the admin anymore, or maybe that one, the group. The page will still be there because I have complete control of that.
The group
There's
has
a lot of porn showing up on the regular page.
I don't know.
I have to go through every day and block. So I was going to make it that I have to approve the posts anymore.
Yeah.
God forbid, because our homeboy out in California, Camilo, is taking care of posting on us all the time. And trust me, I know it's not him.
Yeah. It's definitely not him. I just don't know what the hell is going on.
But I can't get into the back settings now. I don't know if we lost that page. I completely can destroy the page so the group, so to speak, isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
But our front page, the business page, will always be there. The group may need
an overhaul.
Just blown up an overall or anything. Because I was going to make it, yeah, you can still send stuff in and post. And I will approve everything. As long as it's not a schlong in somebody's mouth, spread wide open
porn,
lips.
yeah.
It's just complete. This is getting, listen, I know I post stuff, I schedule stuff and this, that, and the other thing. This is now getting taxing that I have to get on every so often. I had the wife send me something. Hey, your first post this morning probably shouldn't be up there. At 5 fucking o'clock in the morning, I'm in the back of the garbage truck taking somebody's dick off of Can Crushers podcast.
Somebody has something. Yeah.
I know it's mostly robots. I really do.
Yeah.
But
that's the disappointing thing is whether it's robots or it's just somebody being an asshole, somebody ruins things just for anybody.
One
for everybody.
sour apple.
Exactly. That's how it always goes.
Like sour apples, but bad apple.
Bad apple, yeah. It's always one bad apple that takes everything down. So I don't know how to do that, but
I have to,
good luck.
Listen, yeah, and if I don't do it after recording, it's not going to get done until January.
Well, yeah, you're laying in that you've got so much going on. Johnny Busy Pants over here. What are you up to for the rest of the year? Because it seems like you've got your life planned out. I barely know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone fucking Tuesday.
Every weekend there's, and I'm not going to name it all verbatim, but there's football this week. And by the way, I'll do it. It's my wedding anniversary as you guys are listening to it. So it's going to be a wife weekend.
Happy anniversary.
Yay. Thank you.
Welcome.
I got a couple high grounds in there. I got WrestleCade in there. I'm the star of a fucking Broadway Elk County play. So that's 2 weekends. Christmas is thrown in.
Yeah.
It's just, I was doing stuff at work, and not work related, but I was doing stuff at work, and I noticed, I'm like just looking at my calendar on my phone. Bing, 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 bing. December. Bing, 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 bing. I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't know, because some of these have been on the calendar since March or whatever. And I'm just like, so weekends, see you in January.
What's a weekend?
Right.
Oh,
I work to do more stuff, which it's all fun stuff. I'm being over dramatic. It's everything I want to do.
But you're busy. You're busy man.
It's crazy. It's just everything just sneaks up on you.
It does. Yeah, that's true.
Like super fast.
You think you have the time, and then all of a sudden it's gone like that. It's gone with the wind.
If I can get rid of this work part, I'd have an extra 40 hours a week to do activities.
I know. I started daydreaming the other day about, just winning the lottery and just going on the lam, starting a podcast network or something, and just get the fuck out of Dodge and all that stuff. But the odds sometimes just aren't in our favor.
One day.
One day they will be.
Yeah. So, cross promotion, real quick. How about the spotlight this week? Man, Nick Thompson, the Cardinal Nick Thompson, unbelievable kid, really cool podcast. And it was a feel-good story, because if you know the story of Cardinals and what, if you see one and everything, I thought it was always like a my family thing, or because I know you share the same thing, or your family. I didn't think it was like spread that everybody knows if you see a Cardinal. I thought it was like my mom and my grandma just telling me this thing that, hey, if you see a Cardinal, it's a family. That's why Nick's the Cardinal. And I got emotional feels during the spotlight. And I'm like, man. So I had a little couple moments of thought of mom, I thought of grandma, I thought of grandpa. Like, it all hit kind of. I'm like, So great wrestling talk, but then you get the feels wrapped up in it as well. So that was a good one. If you haven't listened, go back and listen to it. Not right now. Listen to this shit show that you're going to hate me by the end of this. But yes.
You got to embrace that Cardinal stuff. And I'll fully admit I haven't listened to it yet, but I got tons to do tomorrow. When you guys are listening to this podcast, I'll be listening to that. But I will say this.
Not watching Crown Jewel live.
Not watching. No, I got other shit to do. I got to winterize this house before too long since it snowed on Tuesday night. But I will. The Cardinal has become very synonymous with my family. It's become a very much symbolistic thing with my dad's passing and that. And it's just been one of those things where when I first moved into my house, this was a couple of years ago, and I noticed there was a Cardinal outside the house for the first about 8-9 months. And when COVID started, I was here every day and I could see the Cardinal just looking in the window, just kind of hanging out. And I'm like, okay, he's watching over me while blessing this new house, hopefully, so it doesn't blow up in my face as I try to navigate what the fuck's going on in here. And then you see it every now and again. It's a nice little reminder, kind of a nice little gut checker kind of thing. Like,
they hit the days that you need it to hit, though.
They do. That's when you notice them. That's when they hit. That's when they're around. They're just bebopping around, and it's like, okay, that's fantastic. Yep. Yeah. So,
not to jump in, but I'm going to.
Go for it. Yeah, I was done with my point, so go for it.
You were referring yours, and I'm not saying this mean to your dad.
Yeah. Right. Like I said, my dad passed away about God, 8 years ago now, 8.5 years ago. That's when I started noticing the Cardinals a lot more, hanging out, doing what they're doing and all that stuff. And it was funny when my uncle also passed away, his brother, about 5 years ago. I saw him at my cousin's house the other day. I'm like, oh, your dad's outside. Probably seeing what kind of bullshit you're getting into. And he's like, yeah, I'm up to no good like usual. And I go, well, yeah, that's exactly why he's going to peck your eyes out when you walk outside because you're being such a dumbass. But that was just a funny story because we can joke about that stuff. But
you both, you live it.
We both embrace that Cardinal mentality of the Cardinal does represent those that have passed, kind of coming back and checking on you. So
mine, it is either one of three, grandma, grandpa, or mom. And I know who it is because if it's and I'm not disrespecting you. It is I don't know. I did something at work, so I know mom's going to yell at me. Or if it's, this is going to sound stupid. If I'm eating or we're trying to make something, it's Graham saying, you're still not a cook. Or if I'm just getting into fuckery, Grandpa's there getting into fuckery with me.
Right. Yeah.
They come at moment. I know when is when. And so, listen, I love my Detroit Tigers. Recently, I'm like, man, just for that reason, I should be a Cardinals fan because I'm embracing the Cardinals so much in my life that, But
it seems good to embrace the Cardinals, but at the same time, it's like, I'll take when I can see them out and about in that because that's not, you know what I mean? So it's like, all right, I'm good with where I'm at, but I'll embrace the Cardinal when they show up. So I'm going to fast lap this. My week was nothing spectacular, whatever. We're still doing the play. We're still going good there. Awesome podcast this week. Yada, yada, yada. You heard my busy schedule, so nothing new. I'm just ready to make you guys mad. How was your week, though, sir? You're just trying to get to that point where you're like, fuck this.
I'm not. I want to we're going to talk hot takes that I don't have or maybe a little of NCAA. No, the hot takes are going to be during the shows.
He's flaming on it. My week has been good. It's been fine. So doing a lot of stuff at work. So work's just been busy, hella busy and all that stuff. Got no trick-or-treaters on Tuesday night. It was we had 30, in the first half hour. We had 30 in the first half hour, and then nobody came. There was a trickle of 6 kids for the next hour and a half. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they didn't think we were up and running on my side of the street or what, but I could see them a block over just walking up and down the street, groves of them. But when there's a light flickering on and off on your street corner and then down at the end of the block, it's dead, you're not getting anybody. So it's kind of okay. So I had a shit ton of candy left over. I ended up taking some into work, here, you heathens have this, and hope for the best at this point. But outside of that, it's been all right, another day in paradise. Let's move it along. Let's do this, cleaning out rooms and all that stuff. So getting things set up for what needs to be set up and what needs to come. So moving forward in life. Moving on up. Moving
to the east side,
where we finally got a piece of the pie.
So, do you have anything else?
I got nothing.
Okay. I'll go here, and then we can go back to whatever. I did watch NWA Circle.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
How was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was, listen, and I know this was always probably planned out prior to the announcement of CW and everything, but I now am going to make a point to watch NWA Power 605 on Tuesday nights on YouTube and everything. It really got me jonesing.
Yeah.
Or am I going to break it down completely? No, this is my overcap. I really liked it. They had everything you needed. They had some technical matches. They had stupid stuff. They had a little bit of comic. It was a complete show. And I want to say this is probably what been since the beginning of COVID. I think they're going to be back. I think they really are. And again, their competition's Impact. We've said this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Their competition is going to be Impact. They're going to be a step underneath them, but it's going to be some healthy competition, I think. Yeah. Like, I really like everything that Corrigan and his writers and so on and so forth have put together. And God damn it, I'll tell you who's actually running that whole place that I will wave the flag for. Pretty empowered.
Yeah.
Between Kenzie and the Henrys and everything, they are just so spot on. How long are they going to be at NWA, though? That's, that whole women's division. Like, I love that women's division. Ruthie J, who's been on here, and, Camille is now back.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, how long is Kenzie going to be the number one dog? Camille is going to be sniffing for that title again. It's got some meat on the bones. I probably wouldn't have said this 6 months ago. And I think their biggest downfall was Brodus Clay, whatever the hell his name. I mean, EC3 is good.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, when you have certain people on your show or like you push certain people, it can bring down the quality because you have to match what the skill set that with. And we saw with Tyrus Brodus that he was just at the tail end of his career. I mean, he got his world title, which is great and all of that stuff, but it just wasn't what they needed for a champion to kind of help keep them. So now, but I think it's going to be important to kind of put it in this context too, not to poo on your parade here, but is it going to be that good? Is it that good to compete with Impact, or was it just because of what was happening before was just so bad?
Touche.
No, they can't.
On that, yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple months to see where exactly the writing is, and if there's just something so bad that it's, it's okay. It is what it is, and it gets you through it. I'd love to see more. I know I only saw clips of it, but I saw Cardona showed up, called out Corrigan, and then Camille came and just smoked his ass right into the ground. Yeah, so I saw that clip, but I'll be interested. I'm going to be watching as an optimistic observer from the sideline because I want to see that. I want to see NWA have that pickup. I want to see the Impacts have the pickup and like get there where right now you're so invested in what we see in AEW and WWE in that you start picking up NWA, you can kind of appreciate it from a whole new fandom fan base. So it's like, okay, let me watch with cautious optimism that it can draw me in, and that's going to be something that I'm going to want to tune into. If it's not every week, I can kind of binge watch on a weekend every couple weeks. You know what I mean? But I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
After January. Right.
Yeah, after January, you might be able to, but
to stir the pot, because I am going to be the devil stirring the pot all night, it could take a major hit. It could take a major hit, and that's a show that's got to be flexible.
Yeah.
If, say, Raw or SmackDown, I mean, it's already against NXT.
Right.
So I have to imagine, if you're going to look at ratings live versus live, it's losing 10 million to 1.
Right.
So
there's just no way.
Yeah, they can't look at ratings. So whenever CW puts them on, honestly, I hope it is. College football will be over by the time they hit CW.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I hope it's at 6:05. CW is not going to start at 6:05, but I hope it's at 6 o'clock Saturdays.
Yeah.
Give them an hour, see how it goes. If it's there for the CW ratings, you're good until 8 o'clock then. Then people can transition to Collision.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always take a hit against a pay-per-view. So if there's a WWE pay-per-view on a Saturday,
you're not going to win that.
Whatever. You're not going to win that. Nobody does.
Unless it's the afternoon.
Right.
You'll win.
But I hope, because to me, NWA is synonymous, WCW, whatever, is synonymous with that 6 o'clock Saturday spot.
Yes. Yeah. Even though it's CW, but yeah, the 6 o'clock spot.
I think if they can, I know I said, hey, it's going to be syndicated. It's going to be whenever it is in Altoona compared to Erie, compared to Biloxi, to Detroit, whatever. It's all going to be a little bit different. If and when they get a live time slot, and it's never going to be live. I don't think it's ever going to be live because I don't think that's in their budget, and two, I don't think it's in what the wrestlers want to do.
No.
At NWA, they record a month in like 2 days.
Yep.
And they ship them off so they can do all their independent stuff. They come back in the following month or whatever. Boom. It makes sense. If they can get it syndicated for 6 o'clock on a Saturday night, listen, especially if it starts in January, what do we do in January? We're hoping for things. Yeah, there's playoff football here and there.
But you're struggling. In January, there's nothing new coming out. It's kind of like the end of the holidays. Things are just kind of on hiatus. So you're begging for something to make a new routine with. And to your point, if it's wrestling at 6 o'clock on a Saturday, people are kind of like, oh, maybe I'll make a habit of this. Let me tune in.
5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dark at 5:30. You're not going out doing things. So you're in the house. You're watching TV. Let's be honest. If you read a book, fantastic for you, but not a lot of people read books nowadays.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, I watch TV. I like wrestling. Let me binge watch what this is. Even if it's for a novelty type thing of, oh my God, this is NWA. I didn't know this was still around. People are going to watch it. People are just going to take it in and do what they need to do. I mean, that's why Collision's going to retain success going into the future here, whether you agree with the ratings or not. It's a Saturday night program where nobody has any competition whatsoever. You're not against new television shows. You're not against football unless there's playoffs. And if baseball is over with, basketball happens on Saturday nights, but it's only like one marquee game and it's on ABC. So if you're not a fan of those two teams, you'll stick with wrestling, right? Yep. So the competition's not going to be there to establish a habitual watching of the show. So it's got a ground to stand on. It
does.
But can it go forward with it? We'll have to see.
Yeah. I hope. Yeah. I like I said, when I watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It kept me entertained. So, yeah. I don't have to watch football Sunday because the Steelers snuck one out.
Yeah.
Last night.
That's a good thing against the Titans.
I'm going to be,
by the way,
miserable today as you guys are listening. 23-point spread against Florida State.
Hey, you never know. You just never know. There could be an upset there. I mean, it went so well against Notre Dame last weekend that I think it could be good. Could be something worth watching.
Yeah.
I wanted to text you
so. Want to drive to Pittsburgh.
I wanted to text you.
Waiting for a lot of people to text me.
Yeah, right. I was gonna text you and I'm like, nah, this is too fresh. What was it, 58-7 or something like that at the end of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a good game.
It's the first game that I didn't watch the whole fourth quarter.
I
legit it off. I needed to go hunting.
I was with Hedrick and Mucci, and I'm like, Mark turned this off at halftime. There's no way he's still watching this when I was watching things, just how the score was going.
Yes. I did then watch the highlights, or whatever you want to call them, Sunday of what happened, and I'm like, there is not a highlight of Pitt in the second half. So
they got the touchdown in the second half, but I know it was against fourth string Notre Dame guys. So
Mucci and Hedrick.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So everybody's releasing their 2024 schedule already.
I saw that.
Everybody is. So
yeah, Oregon's got a. I don't know if I like it or I'm like, okay, well that's about what I figured for it. I don't know if you saw it, but
I briefly, I looked at it. I don't even want to say I scanned. I looked at it and I'm like, oh yeah, everybody's because the Big Ten's like, here's everybody's schedule. the ACC did that for Pitt, but they're like, here's everybody you're playing until 2070, home against Ways. And I'm like,
yeah.
Nothing. You guys have dates.
We do have
Pitt
dates.
does not have dates yet.
They did the home and away thing a couple weeks ago for Oregon in that. What I didn't realize is, first off, week 0, it's against Hawaii in Hawaii.
Good for them.
And
normally Hawaii comes.
Exactly. But because of that, they have 13 games on the schedule, I think, if I remember. So let me count.
You can't have more than 13.
No, you can't. They have 2 off days and then 10, 11. Yeah, 13 games. The Husky game, which is usually their October game, is the last game of the season this year. So that's going to be their big rivalry game. So they put that at the end of the season since Oregon State's not going to play them. But yeah, I mean, well, after Hawaii, they give them a week and then they go home to play fucking Idaho. So the Vandals, good old FCS ass whooping going to happen there. But it's a murderer's row. They play UCLA, Michigan State, Ohio State, 3 weeks in a row. Give it 2 weeks, Michigan.
We'll pump the brake, and we won't get into the Michigan stuff yet. There
needs to be more about this, but
I don't expect Michigan to be a juggernaut next year.
Oh, Michigan's fallen off the radar.
Harbaugh's leaving after this year.
Harbaugh's got to leave. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he got something levied against him. Yeah, exactly. So Michigan not going to be. People are going to. Yeah, that's exactly it. Raiders are looking for somebody now. So kids are going to head to the transfer portal. It's going to be a whole mess. So it's like, okay, Michigan's out. So next year it's going to be, that could be good, could be bad. They got to go to the big house. So the fans are at least going to keep Michigan in the game for a little bit. But yes.
Looking like you'd like to travel to see them play someplace since it's close. They're not at Penn State yet, which would be the closest.
They're not at Penn State. Closest game really is Michigan right now. And I don't know if I want to go to the big house for that game. You know what I mean? Because Michigan State and Ohio State are both in Oregon. They're at Autzen. So
that's
Maryland.
Maryland's
at Autzen too, huh?
That's a money grab.
That is a money grab.
I think Ohio State and Michigan State out there right off the bat.
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what that is. Let's get the Big Ten. Let's get you indoctrinated to Big Ten football. So, yeah, there's nothing really that's like, oh man, I don't know. Yeah, after the Hawaii game, they have 4 straight weeks at home. One's an off week. The other 3 are home games. So they literally
travel the rest of the year.
Well, and that's the thing. They go to Rose Bowl. They go to UCLA. Then it's Michigan State, Ohio State at them. They have to go to fucking Purdue. Back home for Illinois, then back to Michigan, Maryland, back to Wisconsin, then back home. So
again, I don't like it.
And let's put on top of that, next year starts the 12-team playoff. So it's not going to happen for Oregon, and I'm going to say that right now. But somebody brought up, if Oregon were to basically win the national championship and win, they'd have to go 18-0 to do it. They'd have to do basically what is an NFL undefeated season to make that happen. Yep. And there's just no way, no chance they're going to get that close. But
neither's Pitt, so.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, so it was fun seeing it. And I'm like, okay, well, there's nothing close I want to go to try to track that down and make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Go ahead. I'm out until we get to
we're on college football, so we got to talk about the new essentially the greatest thing to come out of college football recently, and that's the possum that took over the Texas Tech LSU game the other night. That motherfucker was screeching at the top of his lungs not to leave that field. My guy was just trying to enjoy his best life. Somebody had to make that game entertaining. He just wanted to watch the game. Somebody had to make it entertaining, and he did not. He looked like somebody getting dragged away to get thrown into the penitentiary or something like that. Like, they're just scratching, you screaming. He's like, no, don't do this to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
That encapsulated not only my whole Facebook page, but anytime I would pop up on anything on ESPN, it was the biggest news.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the same day that the Raiders did everything. Nope, the possum took over.
What was hilarious is I didn't even know. Well, did you see the Raiders story that came out? It's not true, but did you see the Raiders story that came out that he got fired over P.F. Chang's?
No.
They made a joke. Somebody, I think it's been disproven, but somebody reported that Josh McDaniels came to work dressed as the owner, Mark Davis, and Mark Davis laughed it off, seemed to take it in good stride, and goes, hey, let's have lunch. Let's have P.F. Chang's, my favorite place, for lunch. So they go, they order it, they have it brought to the facility, and he goes, oh, here's a fortune cookie. You should open it and see what your fortune is. And the joke is he opened it up and it says you're fired. Ha ha. And that was it. And that's how he got let go from the Raiders.
That's awesome. It was true.
I was hoping it was true. It's not, but it was fucking hilarious to see that.
That would be amazing. You have to special made that fortune cookie.
Oh yeah, he would have. He would have had this plan all in motion, like.
So that's ahead of time. He knows he's fired.
100%, yeah. And it just presented himself. So he's like, you know what? Let's do it.
Do you have any hot takes on pro wrestling?
Hot takes on pro wrestling. Trying to go through so many hot takes in my head right now. I tell you, for this past week, the promos carried the week.
That's nothing hot about it.
There's nothing hot about it. The promos carried it. We'll get into that when we get into the wrestling for this week in segment 2, but like, it's just not. I know NXT had some bangers. That's fine. We'll get to that. I haven't watched it yet, so I haven't seen the Creed brothers. I haven't seen Dragunov. Yeah, Dragunov and Carmelo going at it again. Haven't seen that yet, but just was not enriching. There's some highlights, but there's mostly just like, okay, this is where we're at. This is the status quo. You know, was. I mean, that's my biggest hot take. It's not as big as your hot take, but
no, we're not getting there yet.
We're not getting to that hot take yet. Okay.
I will talk about it during the show in segment 2.
Oh, okay. Apparently this isn't part of the show.
No, this is part of the show, but when we get to wrestling and we talk about each individual person's, that's when I will unleash.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Teasers.
That's fair. What about you? Hot takes.
The only thing I want to say is, I don't know how I'm going to squeeze. I'm being an ass. I don't know how I'm going to squeeze it in. But the weekend before Christmas, December 22nd, I will promote the hell out of this. The Iron Claw comes out, like release date is finally out. I haven't been to a theater in years. I really haven't. But I have to see this in a theater. I need to see this in a theater. I want to be engulfed with wrestling fans just watching this Iron Claw. So, I don't know. Maybe we get a whole group of Can Crusher Nation and buy a theater. I'm kidding. But, you know, all go together, something, watch it if you're into the whole very much heavy WCCW era of it and everything. Just announced, though, by the way. Next August is The Gathering, the final chapter, again in North Carolina. Kevin Von Erich going to be there.
That's amazing.
Talk about which one do I do?
Decision, a decision to be made.
Yeah, because this guy doesn't come out of Hawaii
that often. No.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, no, I'm good.
You're good? I'm good, too. Let's pay the bills.
Collar Network has what he sees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and Hooligans have. Go and buy it, and then use our promo code.
That is Can Crushers. Save yourself 10% off when you put it into the website. So love it, use it, and abuse it.
Christmas is less than 2 months away. So if you're going to WWEshop.com, use our affiliate code. It may save you money. It won't save you money. It'll help the podcast. And it's a great way to support us. It's in the show notes. It's easy.
Follow the link.
We'll probably put it up this week once again on the old Facebooks, so you can use it that way. But
I like it.
Continue to watch. You know, it helps us. It may help you. I did check it this week after I went on a rant last week about, I don't fucking know if it works. Still works. So they didn't disconnect us. You might save 10%. You might just get the same thing. So I don't know.
Give it a whirl.
Sure other podcasts do not say that.
Probably not, but we're honest with the people. We're two schlubs just doing a podcast here, so we're going to be honest with you guys. You know that.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to have some fun, you know, Christmas time is around the corner. We have merchandise too, so if you want to go to our website and follow it and buy some merch, there's hoodies, there's leggings, there's t-shirts, there's cups, tumblers, whatever you can think of. It's all there. But if you just want to wear a sticker on your head, there's stickers too. So just get something.
Whoa.
Boom, put it right on your forehead.
By the way, I really
advertising. You did smack yourself already. We might have a concussion situation over there. We won't throw up an X though.
Luray.
Uh-oh.
Where can you listen to us, sir?
You can listen to us on all your favorites, Apple Podcasts, Google, the Spotify, anywhere you can imagine, but also on Podurama, who is also giving away a lifetime membership for 50% off if you sign up today. Go check it out because you can pick that sumbitch up and listen to our lovely voices in your ear holes anywhere you go, from tablets to phones to laptops to I think even Alexas. Just depends on if you have the app ready to go. So
all seamless.
All seamless.
You pause it in the car, you bring it in the house, and you want to listen on the computer, boom, picks up right where we left off, making a jab at Podurama or Collar and Elbow.
Or WWE Shop. Who knows?
Shop.
Whatever we're feeling like. But yeah.
Check out our socials. We have Threads, we got the X, we got Facebook, and we have Instagram.
And Instagram. Instagram right now is the only one that hasn't been spammed by porn bots. So, you know, that's a good thing right now. I think we're holding strong there.
I have to, maybe before the game tomorrow morning before I go, I really have to sit down today for you guys and just really put a security team or system around. That annoyed me.
I have not noticed that, but I think you catch it. You must be catching it before I'm on there because I'm usually on Facebook right after I wake up and I haven't seen it pop up, but
yeah,
you're probably catching
it seems like they're always doing them midnight
at night. Yeah.
So, hey, if you want to send in a question to Can Crushers, it's cancrushers69@gmail.com. Listen, there's not going to be an Ask Can Crushers for a while, just because it's coming.
Hey, if you have a great question and you do send it in and we like it, we'll do an on-where, to couple that, you could call us on our lovely hotline that we have out there, 814-299-6687. 3 minutes in length. Do not leave 14 messages, Dan Mucci. You are the epitome of that. So, but let us know what your question is. Give us something good to think about. Maybe you don't want to hear us talk. We need to think. We need to get these wheels chugging along here. So.
Yeah, because it's going to be a tough sled until the Rumble for the WWE part of it. And I'll leave it at that.
Tough sled, huh? Is that a winner? Nice little winner pun there?
It's going to be a winter break.
I like that. Okay, that's fair.
For somebody as well.
Yeah, it's getting close. Yeah.
So, all right, here comes Al. I'll tell you more about Collar and Elbow. We'll come back. We'll start with AEW. And then Mark goes off on WWE.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connects emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
I'm Marvelous Matt Bish. I don't know how you stumbled upon this podcast. Must be some dumb luck. Maybe you hit a wrong button. But here we are. You're watching the Can Crushers podcast. And you know what? Tell those morons that I sent you, and maybe they'll treat you a little better. See ya.
Welcome back to Can Crushers. It's Mark. It's Mike. We're ready to talk all elite wrestling. That's not even the way they started.
Elite. Be elite. Be.
By the way, I went to the Fall Festival beer, which was the first one I had a couple weeks ago, which isn't bad.
That's fair.
The Pilsners are
god awful.
donated.
Yeah. Probably for a cheese weekend. I have the Oktoberfest going over here, so.
All right.
Wait, real quick. The Pilsners would be that beer you put into something to cook with because you need that beer flavor or something like that. That's what you put in there.
Great idea if we cook anything.
Yeah, if you cook anything, you can use for the beer flavor of that. So that's what I call the cooking beers. They're just so shitty that you need to add the flavor, so you just put them in something.
That's a great idea. I was just going to give them my air quotes friends because I'm that guy. Try this, you'll like it.
I'm glad you put it in air quotes because you're giving them the shittiest beer one of the shittiest you've ever had. Yeah.
That's what we do. And listen, we're proud. We won't throw it away and go, oh, this is God. No, so they'll suck it down and they're like, you're a dick. And those friends don't listen to the podcast because they're not wrestling fans.
So they don't know what's coming.
So they have no idea how bad this beer is going to be that they're going to get. So, all right, Rampage. 2 matches on Rampage kind of caught my eye. The whole Rampage prior to it starting was like, oh, this could be, you heard this last week. We were super pumped about Santana Ortiz. Had no clue that it was a no disqualifications match right off the bat. Like, they went from...
Yeah, it was 0 to 60 because it was only advertised as, and I'm looking at the advertisement, it's literally just says Mike Santana versus Ortiz. So they went like, well, we need to end this quick. So
yeah, done and over with. Yeah,
they got through it, and it was what it was.
Do you think just me and you were the only two excited about this? Did they?
I'm guessing
it had meat.
I thought it did have meat, but I'm guessing we were the only ones excited about it because they were like, well, it's no disqualification, so we need to just blow it off now, which is telling me these two just actually hate each other and they don't even want to do this business with each other.
Yeah.
And that whole thing with the handshake at the end was real because Ortiz is like, no, I'm done with you. I don't want anything to do with you after this. So that's wild. That's how far they've fallen.
Man, their finisher, the street sweeper, I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so bad. Pride and Powerful, Santana Ortiz, whatever you want to call them, when they were together, they also went by, Los something or other once in a while.
Yeah.
But, man, I love them. Mid-years of this show coming up to now, we were begging for them to be tag team champions. They never got their flowers. I fucking love this match, though, because
they're professionals and they're doing it. Yeah, they took their shots. They did everything they needed to do, and they made it look personal. Like, that's what a lot of these no DQ matches need, is it just needs to look personal. And for them, it really was. So it was very easy to make it stick.
Tables, chairs, kendos, oh my.
You name it, they had it.
Man, I just hope that Ortiz doesn't go with Sanjay's crew then.
It's weird that
either with him or against him.
Yeah, it was weird that he was trying to come out and recruit him. Like, I didn't get that, but Oh, maybe that's the route they're going with it.
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, we're going to skip to the matches because the promos were rough within itself. Willow, Anna, our girl Abaddon, and Sky Blue. The winner gets Shida on Collision. Fast forward, everybody knows Abaddon won, and it's probably because of us.
Yeah.
It said we need her back, and she looked. I mean, we haven't seen her in forever. She looked great. But
you brought up she looked amazing. She was great in the ring. But you brought up a good point last week where it's Halloween, so they're going to bring out Abaddon to have these kind of matches. But again, I'm going to stress this out. We've just said it. She looked great. She's a legit a player. She shouldn't just be strolled out on fucking Halloween. Bring her out. Let her run rickshaw. Let her be the women's version of what House of Black could be, or like that horror type character that can really change the Bray Wyatt type thing that can really change the perception of it. And we're going to get into Collision and the costume that she was wearing and all that, which was cool, and she isn't that, but it's like, man, just let her cook. Because I would love to see her in promos building up things and kind of building off of that. Girl can work. Let her spread her rings and work. Just because she's not traditional in that sense doesn't mean she can't do it.
Get her a la Brock, a la Roman, a la anybody that needed one for the time being. Get her a mouthpiece. I don't think Abaddon should ever talk. I think she should always, as we went back to the spooky people and everything, the missing link, the
Kamalas, like get her Kimchi to kind of do that bidding for it. What the Undertaker was for the first couple years was just Paul Bearer talked and he said rest in peace and nails into a coffin. That was it. It was perfect.
I don't think, and we knew that this was going to be for the heavyweight championship match, and maybe her and Shida they do have a past, but I mean, maybe Shida's like, hey, let's give Abaddon a bone or whatever, Never did I think, as we transition, and I'm not going to transition over, but did I think that anything was going to happen?
Well,
but she's a player for the TBS, I think. Like right now, she's a player for the TBS.
I agree. I didn't think anything would happen. I was watching the match and I'm like,
what?
Maybe they could. Maybe they're going to fuck with us a little bit and be like, okay, for Halloween, Abaddon's our champion for 6 days. Because they've done it to Shida before. They changed the champions on Shida before.
75 times.
75 times. And so why not give Abaddon a bone type thing? But
rematch on Dynamite.
Rematch on Dynamite, she loses it right back. No harm, no foul. Type thing, but
strike from the record book in 5 years that everybody forgets.
Exactly, the 6-day streak that nobody remembers, or 5-day or whatever it is. Yeah.
By the way, last night, as you guys are listening to this, Acclaim celebrated their 69th day. I can't imagine what this is going to be.
It's on Collision, so it's tonight. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's tonight, but still, 69th day. You gotta.
Good Lord.
Scissor party.
Along with everything that happened over the week, we'll get there. Fletcher and Takeshita. Listen, we talk about Ospreay, we talk about Sabre Jr., we talk about this. This was a match from the future for us.
Yeah.
This was the match I'm speaking of. The shenanigans afterwards that maybe kind of pulled this match down a little bit for me. It watered it down. There's no reason this match needed to be half an hour then if that was going to happen that quick that he joined Callis' family. But the match itself, hard hitting, everything thrown. I'm not a fan of the powerbomb pile driver thing that they did near the rope, off the rope, or whatever my notes say. That just looked it almost was like a Styles Clash, but he came down legit on his fucking neck.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that. That's a move that should just not be around.
Well, it's the same thing with the Tiger Driver. Just don't avoid driving people on their neck area, especially when you don't have control. There's only certain people that should do the tombstone or that have done it and practiced it enough to make it work, like Undertaker, obviously. But when she does Saturday Night Fever or whatever it is, the opponent actually ends up tucking her head in between her legs so it doesn't go straight down. There's just so much you can lose balance with that it's not a special move, not something you do on a regular.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be touching or sniffing that any place, anytime.
So that was essentially Rampage. Collision now. Really? You're gonna throw, here it comes. Let's start stirring the pot. Jay White and AR Fox. Can he have anybody that's gonna show some type of, I don't know, he's gonna lose the match or whatever? And I know this match was all about what happened after again. I understand that. Give me anybody. J.R. White, Jesus, I don't even know who J.R. White is, but Jay White, again, MJF to me is carrying this. Jay has done nothing, and I respect him. I think he's a great wrestler, everything he's done across the seas. He just hasn't done Jay White in AEW, and I want this feud over.
I'm gonna say this. I think it's more of Bullet Club Gold has carried Jay White right now because it has, to your point, Jay White is not fully running as Jay White at this point in time. But when we talk about Juice and the Guns, they are driving the storyline forward and really a driving force in that. And to your point, MJF obviously talking on the mic, driving it forward as well. For some reason, I don't know why Jay White is not clicking or is just not fully engaged right now with it. And I don't know, and maybe it's because BC Gold is kind of holding him down because you have to bring the four along to make it work for you. And I know he was in Bullet Club before, but
the BC Gold is carrying him.
Yeah, they really are. But right now, Jay White, he's being overshadowed. He's being overshadowed by the whatever the hell Juice Robinson is. Juice has taken it 0 to 60, and if you were to talk to me 3 weeks ago, if I didn't know what was going on in AEW, I would have said Juice was the one chasing the title. Yeah. Besides Jay White, because that's been the one that's been hitting most. Jay White's making promos and making comments, but he's running and hiding. I will say though, when we get to Dynamite, that was the first time I was legitimately like, okay, now I feel like he's a legitimate threat. Well, now, wasn't great, but it was a legitimate threat. Yeah, but he looked finally like, okay, this is for real. Yes, he was hiding and ducking out. We'll get there when we get there, but I think that was the first time it was like, okay, Jay White might be legitimately back or getting close to being back to what he was in Japan.
Yeah, I agreed. There, it's ruined. I agree. But until Dynamite, I'm like, whoa. The Guns get a super quick victory over the boys, which, man, I wish they would at least let Dalton come out and prance around during this match.
Yeah. They gave him... did you see what happened on Ring of Honor, though?
Nope.
Your favorite luchador joined Dalton and the boys for an 8-man tag.
Oh.
Gravity was one of the boys, and he came dressed up with the boys' masks on, and he came down to the ring.
My cousin didn't win.
He didn't win. Billy Starks
was really poking the bear on all of that on social media this week.
Billy Starks cost her the title on that one, but yeah, it was what it was. Hey, Ring of Honor's getting up there now. So,
are you ready to spend $10 yet?
Well, since the pay-per-view is only going to be $10 now, that might get me. It's entertaining when I see the clips. Let's be honest. And I've been following the Minion training with Billy and Lexi and Athena and all that. So it's entertaining. It definitely is. And my boy Dalton's back to the front, so I got to watch Dalton again. So it's going to happen here in the next few weeks.
I agree. Definitely for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Definitely pull the trigger. Dolph Nemeth, Ryan, gets his ass beat. He's looking for CJ. Does this not scream that Dolph is coming to AEW?
It has
he
to be.
re-signed. Ryan Nemeth re-signed this week with AEW. Did he need to? No, it's probably a ploy for his brother.
To get him here and get him in the company. Because, well, let's be honest. He was looking for CJ, and then all of a sudden they pretty much thrown the storyline out of there because Miro was the one that jumped him in her locker room. So, okay, so now it's how do I get back at Miro and CJ for thinking I'm just a pushover? I hope they don't do I hope it's like a 0-hour match where Dolph comes out and joins and saves his brother or something like that. Because if it's on the actual pay-per-view, I feel like that's just a waste of a pay-per-view spot. It's like,
yeah.
But I mean, the return alone would work and make it pop, but I don't know.
Miro against Ryan
is not screaming pay-per-view.
6th match in 14, maybe. And it really is just to have Ryan get decimated and Dolph come out.
And so Dolph comes out. That's exactly all it is.
3-minute match, 10-minute pop for Dolph.
Yep.
Is what it will be.
People will be buzzing, and then it'll be a bathroom break match after that because people are still trying to come down off the high of, oh my God, Nick is in AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shida and Abaddon, the Fright Night fight. Her entrance changed. And I think I'm talking about Shida's.
Yeah.
No. It was Abaddon. Because we didn't see Abaddon
come
out, I think, on Rampage.
But
I love when she crawled and she boogeymaned it and spit and blood and everything. They didn't let her do that.
I think it's because of the costume she was wearing, because I think she was spawned from Marvel, so she kind of had to play it more of Joe Cool type thing, like just.
I love the costume.
I did too, but I think that was kind of where it was like, I can't do my normal. I love that presence, and I think she should go back to it. But to your point, they had to change it up for that. My favorite part was with Shida's costume. It was a Resident Evil tie-in, because Abaddon's usually the undead zombie that comes out spitting blood, so she was coming out as, I cannot think of her name in the fucking Resident Evil thing, but you guys know who she is.
Laura Croft is Tomb Raider, why the hell?
Yeah, but you guys know who I'm talking about and who I'm referring to. But she came out dressed as her from the Resident Evil movies, and that made I thought that was a cool little tie-in to kind of make it work and all that. So,
bones, gravestones, pumpkins.
By the way,
I didn't like the pumpkin spot.
The pumpkin spot was a little forced. Was it a broom?
There was another pumpkin spot that I despised later on this week, but
that's fair. Did she have the broom when Abaddon beat the shit out of it with the bone? I was trying to remember what the hell Shida had that. Yeah.
I will say, man, commentary did nothing for this match. To watch it without sound, it was a normal street fight, whatever.
Yeah.
Commentary was just like this. They didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, guys, at least say something.
At least be enthusiastic about it. But to them, they couldn't understand what Abaddon is, or how to present it, basically.
That was rough. And then Tony comes out afterwards and puts her ass right in Tony Schiavone's face and squeezes an orange in his eye. I don't know. Joe versus Rhett Titus, man, this match, we're going to talk about it longer than it was. I like Rhett. Rhett's been around ROH for a long time. He's been on the Indies back and forth. I've seen him. I love Rhett. I hope he is there, because I think he's a strong opponent for anybody, or he can fit into a storyline for anybody. But they did no favors.
Yeah, no flavors for him whatsoever.
Nothing.
They made him really vanilla in this presentation.
Yeah. I hate you. I didn't know QTV was still a thing.
Yeah, why is it still a thing? I don't understand this.
I don't know. I forgot.
I muted.
Johnny TV, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Mercury, Johnny everything.
I forgot he was there. Yeah. Johnny Elite, whatever the hell he is. I just muted it because I'm like, I don't care about this.
The Claudio Danielson talking about that. We'll get to that when we get to Wednesday, essentially. Starks against Dax. This is your boy. What did you think of this?
My boy can wrestle. That's what I know. And that's what I've always come to know about Dax, is he can hold his own against it. I think it was better than I thought it was going to be. But I'm also sitting there like, it wasn't the greatest thing, the greatest spectacle that was put on. The ending shtick, I didn't know what to make heads or tails about with that.
I think the whole shtick during the match, like both of these can go. Starks and Dax can both go. I've seen Dax's best match, I think, in his career against Mike Bailey last year. I love that match. They cut to the House of Black way too much in it for a TV audience that was watching it at home. And you have to show the House of Black. Have it be. Now, I'm not disregarding House of Black. If it's 3 seconds they're on TV, that's 3 seconds that you're changing our whole perspective on the match of what's going on. I think it took too much away from the match.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think House of Black should have been out there until the end.
Right.
When they came to the ring. There was no point to that. Like, it took the mystique off of House of Black.
Yes.
And I
think Julia was on the ramp and she didn't show up on the ramp until late.
She showed up on the ramp late, but then they were like acknowledging on Wednesday that, oh my God, this is the first time we've seen Julia since she left or since the pay-per-view. And I'm like, no, she was there on Saturday. You guys pointed her out. You were like, oh, look, Julia's on the ramp. Like, she was there. So
story, the telling of the story is a little rough on all of this.
This is where we're getting into, you're trying to do too much with too little time, and as one person. I'm going to be honest. I mean, we talked about this. Tony Khan's trying to be the next Vince McMahon, where he can do 4 shows, 25 things. He's got to produce stories for ROH. He's got to produce stories that can carry from Dynamite to on Collision and da-da-da-da-da, and Rampage is just touching all of them. He's so stretched thin that now he's got to produce 12 pay-per-views a year, which is where they're going with all of this.
Yeah.
It's kind of running
like that. I really am. Because
I hate that.
I don't think AEW, as much as we love AEW, I'm not saying we're not going to buy them or cover them or anything. I don't think they're ready for 12.
They're not. They were perfectly fine with 4, but I think this is the end result of, if you want to be on Max, you're going to have to put out a pay-per-view a year, like WWE, so that you can be covered by your streaming service.
Yeah.
He's basically over a barrel with that. So I think right now what Tony Khan needs to do is say, he's got to give control away to people. And I don't think he's ready for that, because the people he wants to give it to are still wrestling. He tried to give it to Punk because that's what Punk wanted, to control Collision, and that backfired in his face. But now he's got a little bit with Danielson and Collision. Danielson's on the shelf, but he's going to be retiring in a year, so Danielson can run with that when it's in a year. So I think he's starting to kind of get people in alignment.
We have hints of Omega.
Hints of Omega. He started hinting a little bit to that. So I think he knows what people he would have in charge of creative, and they're great, solid people. But we're in a transition phase right now where he's got to handle 80-hour-a-week work, plus plan for 12 pay-per-views, plus negotiate business deals, plus do this, plus do that. Miz is stretched thin, and there's only so much you can do with it. And it showed during that long run around. It showed in this kind of storyline.
It really is. It time for an on-air GM authority figure that I know that's another part that he'd have to pseudo write. But if it's somebody like, I don't know, I'm going to say Aldis, and I know it's not going to be Aldis, but he's just the one right now. They can help him more. Like get an assistant that Tony's got all the say and whatever, but he doesn't have to show up for, listen, these cockamamie announcements. Good, you're selling tickets in a month. Stop.
That's not an important announcement. That is not important news. There's nothing to that. There's no reason that had to be a thing. And somebody said it best. It could have been an email. It literally could be an email. There's no reason.
A tweet, an email, anything.
Email something. Yeah. That's all it was. That's like you just wasted 5 minutes of precious TV time, which maybe you could have gave the women another short match on top of everything, but you wasted 5 minutes of TV time telling us, hey, we're still going to London next year for jolly old wrestling show.
Tickets going
you can get a half. But you can get a pre-sale code to get them 2 weeks before that.
In the pre-sale code, I wasn't even going to touch on this. Just make it AEW Elite 2024 or All In
24.
Your pre-sale code, and this isn't it, is go to Ticketmaster, type in your mom's maiden name birthday, her mom's maiden name birthday,
Throw in a social security. Throw in a social security.
What the fuck kind of pre-sale code is that?
I don't know. I have no goddamn clue.
You've worked with Ticketmaster now for 4 years. You can make your, listen, I'll throw everything. When we work with Collar and Elbow or all where we get promo codes from, we get to pick them. And what the fuck do you think I'm going to pick? Can Crushers.
Cheers. What do you think everybody else picks?
Right.
Austin picks Stone Cold or some shit like that. Jericho. Talk is Jericho.
Right.
You know, it's not anything groundbreaking or a fucking strong-ass password to prevent hacking.
I was just going to say, it says you pick a password or strong password. Nobody does strong password. Because first and foremost, you then have to put it in your notes on your phone because it's 7U, capital R, little 7, big
exclamation point. Yeah. And if you save it,
strong password for this fucking promo code.
I'm starting to think he just gave away his password for Ticketmaster at that point. This is my admin control. Here's my password for it.
Yeah. Buy whatever you want. Charge it to me.
Just do whatever you just charge it to the account. Buy a suite.
Claudio and Hot Sauce. Man, Hot Sauce just got demand. I don't even know Hot Sauce's real name. But it's Hot Sauce something or other.
It's Racy Williams.
Yeah.
I looked that up. Yeah.
Cold.
There's nothing more I can say to that.
Omega and MJF was everything I wanted this week.
It was so good and left so much on the table. Because you knew...
Does a collision match make match of the year candidate?
It's flirting. It can. It's flirting. Because here's my thing. I have a bias against TV matches because sometimes they're great. They're fantastic. They're over the top. But to me, when you have to put a commercial in it, it kills it. That's what made Omega
streaming down in the corner at a 3x3 inch fucking.
But it kills it. It just kills it. That's what made Omega and Danielson special when they first had it. It was commercial free. You're getting the 30 minutes. Here's everything you need to know. When they did Hangman Danielson later that year, it was commercial free. You got it the full 60, and it was fantastic. This match was the first time I've sat down and watched it in picture and said, I can't miss a fucking moment of this because it's actually cooking and it's actually very good. And to be honest, I kind of anticipated it would be. I think everybody here and their mother, there was the worst kept secret because it was going to be a fantastic fucking match.
Right.
So, man,
Notes. Holy shit chance before the bell.
We knew it.
Normally it's a minute into the match. They go nuts and they have a new touch. This was before the bell. Why? And this is where it started pissing me off then. Tony's like, we're only taking 90-second commercials during this match. So one, they gave away that it's going the rest of the show.
Yep.
But two of them. Because he's like, we got 2 commercials set for 90 seconds apiece. You just killed it. But then I put as a mark, what if it was a quick match? Why do you have Tony say that? What if Omega just hits him with V-trigger, boom, it ended, and we have a new champ?
Yeah.
You ruined the match by telling us that a commercial break was coming up.
Yep.
So that's why, spoiler, it flirts with it. It won't be match of the year. Because commentary kind of hurt it a little bit.
No, it's fair because it took away from the as a fan, there's a mystique. There's a speculation you have about these matches, and you want them to play out. So when you're giving away that, okay, we're going to have 2 90 minutes, so you're like, okay, well, this is 30 minutes long, so I better buckle in. It's like, do I want to? That's what made that Hangman match and Danielson match, where it wasn't supposed to go 60 and it did, so special, because it was like, holy shit. Like they said they had the commercial for an hour, but we're sitting here like, it's 25 minutes. Somebody's going to get a pin. It's going to be over. They fucking wrestle to a draw, and you're left in drooling. And you're drooling like, holy fuck, what did I just see? What just happened? Holy shit. That's what makes it special. This time, though,
they could have did that with this, though.
They could have did that with this, left it alone. When the commercials come up, you say, guys, we have to step away for 90 seconds. Here it is. And just cut, do picture-in-picture, set it up at the commercial breaks, the mystique would have been there and would have kept strong with it.
Yeah. JR said that was closer than 19 to 20. What? Why?
Is he not allowed to say 2 7/8? Like, come on.
Why? Actually, it was the other way. It was closer to 20 than 19, or whatever the hell he said. But
it was still one. Yeah.
Why are we going that? Wrestling fans know how to count to 10. That's the high that we count to. You know, I'm not knocking us, but right?
There's 10 count. There's 10 count. Yeah.
Normally it's a 3 count, but we struggle getting to 10 once in a while. Why make this? And it's just JR. It is, and I'm not throwing him under the bus, but Mark Henry said the same thing that we're kind of saying. This should not have been a TV match. Or if it should have been, I'm buying the half an hour out, and it should have let them cook.
And here's where it plays into it now. There's 2 points to this. To that point about buying the half hour and letting it cook. They must not have had so much faith in the Saturday night crowd that they were like, we have to buy the half hour out. But to me, that's the respect you put on MJF and Kenny Omega. Let them cook. Give them the respect of saying, here's a half hour. Go out there and do the best thing you can fucking do and make it work. Point 2, if MJF Jay White does not live up to what it needs to be as the main event of the show, everybody's turning on you. Just like they turned on you earlier this week when you signed Ric Flair to a multi-year deal, you're going to send everybody into a tizzy because that match did not live up to the hype of what MJF Kenny Omega was.
Yep.
So now you've added pressure to MJF, who can carry a match if he needs to, and Jay White, who we have just said has not reached New Japan level Jay White. Now they could surprise us, and that match turns out to be the absolute banger, and we're sitting there like,
we're idiots.
Hey, Crow, it's fine. But if they cannot get the chemistry down just right and they can't cook in that match, they fucked
Omega and MJF buried it.
Omega and MJF buried it. Because right now, that's the number one match in
right now.
MJ, in All Elite. That's the number one match everybody wanted. That's arguably the number one match of MJF's title reign. And that's putting it against the 60-minute with Danielson.
Yeah. It was record-breaking as well. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and it was a record-breaking stunt. That's the other thing. You're doing this. You built it up for 2 weeks. I know we went back and forth and said this should have had more build. Da 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 da. Okay, fine, but you're putting on a collision. You're having them call each other bitches and say 15 days, 3 days, bitch. You're going back and forth with them. Let them fucking cook for that half. Give them the hour. Fuck it. Just give them the hour. You let Punk run it for an hour with his friends and everything, and they gave us banger after banger. FTR and Bullet Club Gold. Magic. And we glowed over that, and that's in a match of the year conversation, especially for tag teams. Give the same respect to one of your founders and one of your day one signees.
Fucking future of professional. He is the now, but he is the now,
but he is. And as much as we joke about, he's already made his choice. He's staying for the decision of 2024. Make him feel respected.
Yeah. And all those are the reasons why he will not, that match, as much as we loved it, will not be on Match of the Year.
Yeah.
Should be. Should be. But it was done dirty. Dynamite. Dynamite has MJF running all over the place before the main event. Looking for, we can just cover all of these and then jump to the main event and then come back and cover the show.
That's fine.
I love that he went everywhere.
I did too. He went to everybody we thought he would. He got almost jumped by Wardlow, jacked him up against the wall. The whole Jericho angle was weird, but made sense because they were a tag team. So him answering the door made sense. But with the Acclaim just following him around during all of that, that was just comedy gold. I mean, it was just, I won't say comedy gold, but it was comedy. It was pretty good. They were saying, sign up, we're here, just take us as your partners, da-da-da-da-da. And
Team Double J then was like, come with us. And he's like, I don't want nothing
to do with you. I'll go with the Acclaimed. Also, I've seen that the Damn It Max shirt is out, and I kind of want to get it because I feel like that's going to be a fantastic shirt to have in the collection.
Yeah, I think so too. I do. I love that the Bangers, the Bang Bang guy, whatever.
Bang Bang name.
Yeah, come out first. The Acclaim comes out by themselves, and they kind of make MJF come out alone.
Yeah.
Perfect. I want a pink scarf now.
That was pretty sweet.
Everything that we talked about last week off air.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be even better in the play?
That would be fantastic in the play.
They better start selling.
Do they got to sell? Hopefully. By the way, before we get in the main event, Max had a good rap this week. We got to give him some credit. I thought it was good. It was actually good this week. So maybe he just needed his love to inspire him. They let him go, but he just needed his love to inspire him. So
I was shocked by the win, though.
I was too, but happy about it at the same fucking time. Go ahead.
It gave away the pay-per-view for me. I'm still buying the pay-per-view.
Right.
This was Jay White's win over MJF.
Yeah.
That's my spoiler. When we make predictions next week, or 2 weeks, or whatever. That was his win over Max. To see.
Well, that's fair. And they've done it before where you get the win before the pay-per-view and then they give you the win at the pay-per-view. So you're right. It was to see what would happen. But it finally made the Blade Runner look really legitimate. Yeah. And the way he posed and did everything he needed to afterwards, it finally put Jay White into that next level. Not saying he's fully at Jay White New Japan, but he's still at that next level where it's like, okay, now we're sniffing the title. Now it seems a little bit legitimate. I don't think it translates to a win, but we'll get there next week when we see what else plays out this upcoming week.
Yeah, he's got too many suitors for this title.
He's got way too many. There's too many strings dangling right now for him to lose it, which is also making me think World's End is going to be a fucking multi-man just shit show for him.
I do too. That's exactly what I thought. This week, especially when Wardlow was choking him out like a 3-year-old, just hold him up, like, oh.
We have...
And then maybe that's going to be a big change. I'll predict now. I think there's I don't know who yet. I think there's a new champ coming out of that. And I'm not saying who right now, but I think there's definitely a new champ coming out of that.
That's fair.
Other things will
align and happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I do like the Billy Gunn kind of slapped him around and said, after Max takes a title shot for him, look what he's done for you. And then they all scissor.
You fucking scissor him now.
Yeah. That probably wasn't supposed to be on air. But
that probably wasn't, obviously, but still hilarious and still such a... I don't know how he delivers this shit deadpan. I don't know how the fuck Billy Gunn does this, but delivering a line that says, you fucking scissor him now.
Emotionless.
Deadpan, emotionless, like a dad that's just yelling at it and admonishing his child. That popped me more than the actual fucking scissoring, because I'm sitting there like, how the fuck do you deliver that line? I'm sitting at home and I couldn't...
Dying.
I can't even say scissoring without laughing, because I'm a fucking child.
Mm-hmm. All right, jumping back and forth. Orange and Claudio was good.
It was the holdover to what obviously with Mox. And then I was actually more surprised than happy. Orange went right back in the ring after Mox, and it wasn't like Mox was chasing him down. He went after Mox.
But he got, again,
dismantled. He got dismantled. He didn't think well. And I like Claudio, disappointed, hanging his head on the ropes, letting the shit happen behind him, and then reluctantly going and taking care of security for Mox, and then just picking him up and moving him. So to me, that's telling a whole different story within itself, where Claudio is now questioning himself, but it's also causing rifts within the BCC for things happening. Claudio's got a lot on his mind right now, and I think it causes a lot of rifts with the BCC and how things are going forward.
Talked about this, I don't know, maybe a month ago, or maybe even I think during Ask Can Crushers the question came up. I think the BCC is definitely
there's
a bigger split in the BCC than there is in the Bloodline. I'll just leave it at that to put the parity together.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
World's End.
At World's End is
Mox.
Yep. Apropos, it's going to be a big. Yeah, probably, because Claudio's chasing it. He needs a title. Mox probably wins it back from OC, I would assume.
I would think.
But again, though, they just go back to what they were planning to do before, which I think was Mox runs with it. They bring it back to OC Mox 2, and then Orange takes it. I don't know.
Do we see a crazy Orange? Because that's what it's going to take for the next 2 weeks. There's interaction coming.
Orange has become more serious over the past 2 months. I think it carries over that. He just goes nuts. I don't think he gets edgy for that match.
Okay, I agree.
Because if AEW has proven, if AEW has proven anything, a regular singles match can be as hardcore as you want to make it if you tell the story right. They've let stairs happen. They've let tables.
30 seconds in this match.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Mox is, OC is, this is going to be a bloodbath in the middle of in Los Angeles, essentially.
What? On the ROH 6-man titles? I mean, I understand it, because I'm ready for Swerve and Hangman again. I am. Did we need to take the titles off of them? Or is this something telling us, because don't forget there's a tag team that's got a tag team title shot whenever they want it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And they've now shown heel tendencies because they threw a temper tantrum after the match. It's freed them up. It kind of lets them be. Lets them free. Douchebags again.
They are better douchebags.
They are way better douchebags. And to that point, we had everything that transpired with Jericho and Omega after that, where they're just like, you know what, fuck you, take your shit, deal with this guy. If you want to be with this guy, do it. They're fucking done. And once again, the Elite's kind of just broken up, and
I'm all right with it.
I am too. I don't think they needed to be together. It's not like it's a swan song for any of these four guys.
Well, I think it might be for somebody. I think you're going to get a lot of Omega by himself for a while.
Oh,
Him
yeah.
and Jericho are going to have something.
Oh, they're going to have a blow off. But no, I agree. I mean, Omega's going to be running for, this is his, whatever's happening right now is his last legs, even though his promo after Collision indicates he's here for a couple more years. Omega's more of a part-timer coming forward, where if you knock on the door, the angel answers type thing, like the devil answers or that. You knock on Omega's door, I'm going to make my presence known. But
I think it's the right time for the Elite to
go their separate ways.
Hangman back in a title picture? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Swerve. Listen, him and Swerve can run probably 75 times, and I'll enjoy everything that they do. They have a lot to go there.
Right.
Bucks, listen, they have to be in the tag team title hunt.
They have to. Right now, the tag team division's not where it was even 2 years ago.
No. I don't know. And again, we don't really talk ratings. We don't care ratings, but is Starks and Big Bill really the tag team that's going to push it to the next level? To me, no.
No.
Put it back on the Bucks and let them run against. You give us Bucks luchas again. Let's go.
Yep.
I want to see the Spike shoe one more time.
And that's exactly it. They only made that pivot because Aussie Open got injured.
Yeah.
Had the Aussie Open not got injured, they would be champs right now. It'd be the Bucks and Aussie Open at fucking Full Gear, and then we're done with it.
Yeah.
But we also haven't heard the tag team title match yet for Full Gear. And that's basically LA is the second home for the Bucks.
Right. They're going to probably call their shot, I bet you.
Yeah, in the next 2 weeks here.
Tony with Copeland and Christian comes out and retiring, and you brought it up. Listen, I thought he was supposed to follow him around for the next 3 to 4 months. I thought Flair was supposed to be his puppy. He's his fucking present.
Yeah.
Where was he?
Nowhere. He was selling those energy drinks now that they're the official brand of AEW.
Already saying who he wants to manage after March. Yeah, I can't wait to work with Andrade. Will you stop?
Well, he wanted to go.
I wouldn't mind to get a promo battle with MJF.
Yeah. Or my new favorite line. Oh, I've been medically cleared by my doctor.
Yeah.
The fuck you better not have been. 74, you almost died in the last match you had earlier this year. And I don't say that jokingly. You literally passed out twice.
Yeah.
In the finish of that match was you passed out.
Essentially a year ago, like right now, I think. Around.
Has it been a year since that?
I think so.
Oh, God, I thought that was earlier this year.
It's so stuck in your head.
It's such a... Oh, my God. I gotta look this up. I
actually thought it was SummerSlam weekend. I really do, because it wasn't SummerSlam in Nashville last year?
It was. Oh, you're right. It was 2022, July 31st, 2022 in Nashville.
Yeah. It was the night before SummerSlam, or 2 nights before SummerSlam.
Yeah. God, that was such a fucking awful affair. And it feels like just yesterday that. Yeah.
So Edge is going to team up. I know I said Edge, but Edge is going to. I'll probably continue to call him Edge, and I know it's WWE, but Adam Copeland doesn't roll off your tongue like Edge does.
It doesn't. Even if you put Rated R Superstar in front of it, it's not going to. It makes it even longer.
Yeah. Or that's why I just call him Copeland most of the time. Copeland, Sting, and Darby. I'm not excited for the 6-man. Just give me Christian and Copeland.
That's where I was at. We should just have this match. But if you're trying to sell World's End,
Well, yeah.
apropos the team, the friendship world comes to an end at that point. So,
and that might be the beginning break of Sting and Darby as well. Like,
yep.
World's End's going to carry a lot of clout for the following year, I think.
Agreed. It's going to push all the storylines forward. So what Full Gear usually does at the end of the year is what World's End's actually going to do. Full Gear is just going to become that thing that's in the middle of the two.
And that's sad because that's one of their big
It was one of their big four. It's like Survivor Series. It becomes obsolete. And let's be honest, we usually have an eliminator tournament about this time to get us ready for Winter is Coming. Where's that? Why isn't that setting up the title shot for a World's End, which I think leads into giving up what we think is going to happen in that main event, because it's
going to be
five,
a match.
It's so many. Let me ask you this, and I'm digressing, and I know we have a couple more matches on Dynamite, but do they do a multi-man match, or do you think he's got some ungodly match type that he wants to roll out here in the coming weeks for World's End? Here's what I'm thinking, like how the Chamber was brought out for Bischoff in 2002 with Survivor Series and that. Do you think he is going to reinvent the wheel somehow and have some sort of multi-man fucking world title thing in a cage or some sort? World's End makes me think.
Never thought of this because I didn't think they were the company to, but copy and paste kind of now with the 12 pay-per-views
and that. You have to get original somewhere.
Yeah, because their big crazy ass match is their Stadium Stampede or
Anarchy in the Arena.
They're both the same goddamn thing. Listen, they really are.
Yeah.
During pay-per-view, when was the last cage match? Regular, just cage match. And I know they do them to make them special compared to.
Yeah.
WWE does them on Raw sometimes.
Yeah. I was going to say Britt and Rosa, but no, it was Lucha and Jungle Boy, I think.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get any more blow-up matches.
No, we're not going to get any exploding barbed wire matches, but to me, it's some sort of new concoction of the cage, or like we're taking blood and guts and we're going to the extreme. Think about who you have. You have Wardlow, you have Joe, you have Omega. I'm going to throw Jericho flirting around in there. And then you have Jay White, who's going to be the last contender for the title. Adam Cole could be healthy by then. So let's take Jericho out, put Adam Cole in.
No, you have to keep Jericho in. He's the original champ.
Yeah, that would be the blow off for Jericho and Omega. You're right. So then that's 7. What are you doing? What type of match do you put together? Do you have 6 chamber pods? What kind of concoction are you going off of? This is like when this was back when I was a kid, make up these fucking match types.
All in a cage?
It's a fucking tower of cages like WCW did with Hogan, and who was Hogan's partner?
I think
they're dead in the water.
They're dead.
They're dead in the water. I had a more original match type when I was 9 or 10 years old with what I called Brutality Jackpot. It was like a different match stipulation, but there's 7 guys in it, right? And that's where my mind was. It was like you just whittle down the field until the very end. They're not going to do that. But what I'm thinking is like, is it a fucking cage match? Is it a ladder-esque match? If they do the stacked cage, you might as well just say, well, it was great being WCW for 4 years and then all of that stuff. You can only do so much to be so original in a sport that's been around for 100 years at this point.
I hope, Tony, you're listening, and you don't. A 3-way sometime is too much for me.
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber. Essentially, when was the last time everybody was in the Elimination Chamber? Because people come in, they get pinned, the next person comes instantly in, right? Like all 7 people, whatever the fuck it is.
it was back when it was that early stage of the Chamber before it had its own pay-per-view. Like, again, you water down a pay-per-view concept and you lose it. But when we're talking about that, it was like, it was like the first one where you had Shawn, RVD, Triple H, and then the second one with Goldberg running through people. There was already 5 people in the cage at that point, and he just ran through fucking people. It was those early incarnations that were like, okay, this is brutal, this is something new, this is something else. And then you introduce the concept way too much, and it becomes a very stagnant, very bad idea. And like, that's what happened with that Intercontinental title chamber in 2015. It was so god awful because it was just like, they had the tag team one before that, which was absolute chaos. And then you had this one they trapped out that was just like, like I'm about to throw up in my mouth because it's so bland and boring. There's nothing of excitement going on in here.
I would hope, because any match that we've just brought up in the last couple minutes doesn't go to MJF. Like, I would rather see him try to run the gauntlet on 4 to 5 guys. You know, he starts with Wardlow and whatever. He punches him with the ring and gets, because you can at least lead up to another one-on-one match, I think, essentially, with them. A gauntlet match would make more sense. Do I want to see a gauntlet match? No, I'm not a fan of gauntlet matches whatsoever, where one guy just stays in the ring, and if it's MJF that has to start and beat them all, okay, then he beat them all. But if he comes out 6 out of the 7 that we're saying,
he doesn't beat them all.
Really only beat 2 people then in this match, but he gets the win for the match. So what's that really do?
Gauntlet matches to me only work is if you have a planned elimination of like a favorite in the middle, because it keeps interest. So like, I think the best gauntlet match that's ever happened is the one where Seth Rollins ran the table on Raw, and he was in the ring for an hour 15, whatever that was. That was fantastic.
You also need somebody to do that. I'm not saying MJF.
Yeah, you need somebody. Yeah, you need somebody built to do that. But what I'm also saying is, you have to have a surprise in there to kind of keep people's attention, because you're just trotting out people one after another. And yeah, if you're a fan of MJF, you're like, okay, he's doing it. Well, he should beat this guy. And then, you know, the match drags on for 10 minutes. Have a fucking pop where it just, something changes and it completely shifts your whole focus of what's happening in the match. And you're like, oh my God, I need to pay attention more to this. That's the problem with gauntlet matches. When it becomes stagnant matches, you get kind of bored with it. You lose the fans at that point. I think it's as hard to plan out as an Iron Man match, because we talked about this. Every time you get a fall, that's a whole new story you have to add on to that. Or in the case of Brett and Shawn, it's every 10 minutes they had to reinvent the wheel in that match because they were getting to sudden death to just get one fall. With the gauntlet, every different person brings a different skill set that you have to structure to be able to match and have a different match with. And there's a science to it, because if you're taking shots from Wardlow and then you roll out, I'm just throwing gravity here, Joe, then you're taking more shots off here, but then you're supposed to have a match with some like Vikingo or something, and that's just a name thrown out there. That's a totally different style. You're already gassed because you've taken hits from Wardlow and Joe. It provides some intrigue to it, but if you're not putting on a higher level caliber match because you're so tired, kind of like, what the fuck's the point? Right. You know what I mean?
Agreed. I hope he doesn't try to invent Elimination Chamber or something. The
Chamber's coming. There's some iteration of that Chamber coming.
Right. Again, we're going to keep pounding this probably for the next year. 12 pay-per-views coming for AEW. You got to have something to say, all right, we're going to invent this for this pay-per-view. The only thing give me a scaffold match.
Yeah.
We're not going to get scaffold matches anymore, and I doubt it. Indies maybe, but major federations probably
no.
Yeah, and they're bad matches, honestly.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you're on a limited platform. You do something wrong, you're going to your death, essentially.
I just want to.
Yeah.
We essentially talked about Jericho and Omega against Cool Hand, and listen, the best part was that they were called cocks.
Yeah.
We're getting a street fight out of it, and Jericho says, well, I do want to talk about this. Ibushi's coming, and Jericho brings somebody out. Listen, I love the Big Show. I love Paul White. He's an amazing human being. I listen to some of his stuff that he puts out. He looked like he was in a coffin. They had a pillar, not like Sammy Guevara or Darby or MJF or anybody else behind him. He was barely standing.
He didn't look in too good of shape or health.
No.
Like his way he was standing seemed like he was favoring one body part over another, and it looked very awkward in that.
He looked like he just came off a bender. Bender's eyes were bigger than a freaking sandbag.
He had bags. Yeah, the bags under his eyes. He just looked rough around the edges.
It's not appealing to say, oh, I can't wait to see Jericho, Omega, the Callis crew that I really love, which, by the way, Sammy's not cleared yet, but by the time the pay-per-view comes around, he'll be cleared.
Can we talk about this? Because it's not even on the pay-per-view. It's on Dynamite in Ontario.
Dynamite.
Yeah, which to me is like, why the fuck wouldn't you put it on the pay-per-view? Like, I get it's Canada, so it's Jericho and Omega's home country, but to me
it's Ontario, California.
Is it Ontario, California? Oh, then fuck, why wouldn't you put it on the pay-per-view then?
Right.
I don't get it.
It's not going to be a long match.
Because Paul White was just looking terrible.
Right.
I don't know.
Willow against Shida. Great match.
Mm-hmm.
Shida retains. Afterwards, everything went to hell. And I mean this in a good way that Mark's going to bitch about. What the fuck are you doing with Sky and Julia? When his Sky, she wasn't turned. I'm full-fledged into a Mark right now, by the way.
Go for it.
She wasn't fully turned. So how can she now be a spitter? Don't take any of that the wrong way. That just popped my head. Fuck you, hate you guys all that said something stupid right then and there. When did she become somebody like that? She's not there. She was wearing a fucking Scooby-Doo costume the other day. She's not. So all of a sudden, but she also didn't give Willow her props. Look, I'm intrigued by this. This is why I'm so passionate about it. And she completely missed Julia.
Oh, yeah, she did. That was
not M-I-S-T, M-I-S-S-E-D.
Missed her totally. Hit her right in the chest and chin area.
I don't want Julia turning back. Was this a good turn missed? M-I-S-T.
This was only a good turn missed for Sky, because Sky is. I have an attitude, but I'm being good about it. Julia is. Yeah. Well, because there was no way it could work. To your point, when you wear Scooby-Doo, but also you can turn that into a plus for it, where Sky was rebelling what the Mist was doing to her. She was still had that internal. I'm going deep psych on this. I'm trying to save it, but I'm going to save it anyways. I think she's having this internal battle where she's angsty, she's angry, she's acting out to everybody that's been her friends around her. But she's still carrying the quirkiness of her former personality, of her, I still love Scooby-Doo. I want to pay homage to Scooby-Doo. I'm fighting what was the Mist that they did to me. And I think that's where they were trying to take the segment after, to your point, it seemed like it wasn't going down the path they thought it was, or they weren't getting the result they were. but maybe this was just the end game all along. The mist worked against Julia because she was misguided, and you're on the varsity blonde. You're not going anywhere right now. But
Right.
I think with Sky, it was one of those things where, and I'll go down that route, she was in a better place mentally that you take the mist, you don't fully turn. It can play with you, but it doesn't fully turn. Because how many times have we seen men misted, but they don't turn? Right?
Right.
They just have some weird things happen or whatnot. I think with this is the first time we've seen, besides Willow, who seems to have just gotten over it, it was more of, we're halfway there to the turn, but who I am as a person kind of clears it up, but it gives me an edge going forward for that. And I think that's what Sky was missing beforehand. Maybe this has helped her push her to another echelon of, I now have an edge, I can have a dark side to me, but I can still be my fun, quirky self and still be what people fell in love with beforehand. But now I have an edge that I can compete with your Rubies of the world, your Chris's of the world, your eventually Carl Sheetas and Tony Storms and that. So maybe that's what they were going for here. And if so, I dig it. Do I think that was the case? I think things didn't fall through where they needed them to, but now you can pivot.
I think Tony got scared that we were going to come after him because he didn't get the copyrights to the Covenant or Salem Sisters or whatever. Yeah.
They had to change it. He had to change course.
He's like, God, Mark and Jenks got it, so I better.
The Salem twins, yeah, we got to go.
Yeah. Get off of this. Let's change Sky, which if Sky's going to do the turn back or be edgy but smile to us and everything, I'm excited for her because she is, listen, you heard me say it before, she's a John Cena. Like, Sky just is just too lovable, and I mean that nicely. But I hope this doesn't hurt Julia, because I just to be the one standing at the House of Black now again.
Yeah, I don't think it does, because I think this helps create the picture we need for the WWE, the AEW TBS title. I think, to our point earlier, Chris is going to lose it. So now you have three legitimate contenders. Willow, who is herself. Sky Blue, who is now I can be a badass if I need to, but I'm also my quirky self. And Julia Hart, which is full on
Devil.
Devil witch combination, House of Black. It adds a layer of depth. We had the Can Crushers comment about where the women's division, where's the future at. We're now seeing clear-cut players being cut out here right now. And in 6 months, we're going to be like, I honestly think we're going to be like, okay, the women's division's here. Now we have clear-cut tiers. We know who can shoot up, who can go here, who can go there. Because these three women are the future of AEW, hook, line, and sinker.
I agree. That's it on AEW. Roddy calling Cole and MJF, and I'm kind of over that. Not as over as something we're going to talk about shortly, but
that's fair.
Two things.
Yeah, two things.
Nothing else on AEW.
Nothing else on AEW.
All right, we already told you. WWE is going to, if we say quick, I probably really mean quick this time.
Short, sweet, and predictions.
Yeah, predictions in segment 3.
Yeah.
So we weren't watching SmackDown during the show last week. We were watching our boy Biff, by the way.
Right.
Darling got fucking destroyed.
Biff was not inspiring him with the gun show at all.
He made our post, though. He
did. Good job, Biff. Thanks. I hope you get the rub from it.
The show starts, Roman comes out, and before he holds up his title,
LA Knight
walks out. I'm over him. Completely over LA Knight. And it's the Yaz. It's the let me talk to you. It's I just listen, I am definitely in the minority. Still kicking ass in sales. Everybody loves him, this, that, and the other thing. Wake up, he's not winning. I don't care. There's my spoiler. He's not winning. I just know he's not winning on Crown Jewel because more to happen. He's just in the way. I understand the yes every once in a while. And it might be me getting old. You don't say, I'm going to kick your ass. Yeah. But it's almost as bad as the what? And you know how much I hate the what? I'm over LA Knight. I hope at Crown Jewel, the main event is, 4:00 in the afternoon, and this match starts at 3:50 and is over by 4:00. 10-minute match, just a decimation like Claudio and hot sauce. I don't care right now about LA Knight. He's too much for me. He's just, I don't know. And it happened during SmackDown. And then the more and more, and then you're seeing clips all week, and I'm like, God, now don't get me wrong. I love Eli Drake. I love the human being that he is. I hate the story right now. I just think he's shelved too fast. I don't know. I really can't. I don't fucking care about him. Honestly. He's just too much. It's just, I got a stuck Rock and Stone Cold comparison in my head that I can't get out. That, listen, this is your callback to the Attitude Era, that everybody loves the Attitude Era. Everybody loves, he's a better wrestler than anybody in the Attitude Era. And I don't mean it, there's, we've said this for years now. The Attitude Era was about shtick and tits and ass. Mm-hmm. He's amazing in the ring. And I'm giving him his due. I don't care about him against Roman. It just, at this point, this was just 2 weeks, boom, force feed him, Roman's going to go away. You're not going to see Roman in Survivor Series because Randy's going to show up. So you don't want Roman to lose any of the pop because everybody's going to be pumped Randy's back in Survivor Series.
Yeah.
December is Can Crusher pay-per-view for WWE because they don't even know what the fuck it's called. They don't care about December because it's only to get the Royal Rumble. No chance in hell Roman showing up to that pay-per-view either. It's going to be Randy against somebody if he's coming back in Survivor Series as a main event, or whoever has the other title, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I didn't need this. I didn't need LA Knight and Roman. It is doing nothing for me because of other things going on in my life. This pay-per-view probably won't be watched until Wednesday, but I wouldn't tune in for this main event. Now all of a sudden, I don't care about LA Knight right now.
That's fair. That's fair.
And if it didn't, I'm probably really going to be fucked off next week.
Probably.
I don't think you can win. By the way, second beer this segment.
You'll go for it. I don't have another one near me, but I'm going to say this. I loved everything about that segment last week. And I'm going to be the counterpoint to that because I get it. I've heard it for the past 3 months. He's Stone Cold and Rock ripoff, whatever it is. That's fine. I think for a lot of the chants, I think the what has tarnished it. If the what never existed, might not exist, but it also might be fine on its own, right? Because the what chants have just completely soured people for the past 20 years.
Yep.
Segments running too long. Somebody's breaking in their promo where they're not supposed to. What? It gets annoying. The yeahs are at least a controlled call and response with the crowd to get them engaged and get them. To me, LA Knight elevated himself last week because he showed, I don't respect you. I don't give a shit what you think you are or who you think you are, so I'm going to come out during your entrance. Then I'm going to steal your head of your table and basically tell you to fuck off there. Then I'm going to talk about your sucker and succotashes and call you out and touch the forbidden fruit that hasn't been brought up lately in that. Yeah, I get that. That's all mannerisms of Stone Cold and The Rock and all of that good stuff. But any person that has come after the year 2001 is a version of Stone Cold and The Rock at some capacity. Whether some people do it better or worse, that's the end of the game. For me with LA Knight, this actually pushed him to say, I just don't respect you, and it's giving me a different vibe for the match than what would be a Jey Uso versus Roman, a John Cena versus Roman, even a Cody Rhodes versus Roman, where they're respecting the tribal chief. Now, to your point, LA Knight might lose in 10 minutes on that on Crown Jewel, but he's now made that big of an impact where you're like, well, even if he loses in 10 minutes, he's fucking disrespected Roman, and he's probably still going to come out next week and disrespect Roman and not give him a shit in time. He doesn't give a shit what he thinks or says or does. That, to me, is what made LA Knight what it is. And I think for me as a fan, from my perspective, we've lived through WWE looking dead in the eye of the most popular wrestler in their company and saying, you're not good enough, so I'm not pushing you. We've lived through that. WWE is now smart enough that they're recognizing, hey, he's our most popular guy. Even if we don't give him the title, we give him a title shot and give the fans at least something that they want to see, what they think they want to see. We also test out, can he carry a pay-per-view buys? Can he carry somebody putting eyes on Peacock live in Saudi Arabia? No, probably not.
Right, because
it's the middle of college football season. You're not going to fucking do it. But it's not indicative of him. But it's also doing, you guys wanted him. You better give up what you think you usually do on Saturdays and watch him face Roman Reigns. It's forcing the fans to support their man. No, I get it. But it's forcing the fans to support the man that they're making so popular. To your point, we'll spoil my prediction too. LA Knight's not winning this. And if he is, I'll be the happiest motherfucker next week because I'll be like, I didn't see this coming. What the fuck happened? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But he's not going to win. So let's just give him the biggest fucking pop and let him pop off for the next 3 weeks, basically. Let him do what he needs to do. It at least sets it up for a fun atmosphere at the pay-per-view.
Can I stir the pot?
Sir.
Why the fuck are they doing it in Saudi Arabia then? If you're going to give the fans what they want, why isn't, and I know Crown Jewel, and I know it's Roman's schedule and all, I'm playing devil's advocate even with myself. If he's the biggest guy over here, listen, I will continue. I know you want to say something. You've got
I know. You go. No, it's your point. Go for it.
Saudi Arabia, again, I will beat this to a dead fucking horse twice. Last year they asked for dead people. Do they really know that LA Knight, he's over, folks. Trust me, I'm being an asshole. I do love him, but give it to us over here then. Why are they doing it over there? On a Saturday at 1:00 during college football season. Why couldn't Roman, this could go for another month. Roman doesn't show up for a couple weeks, LA Knight just banters and just fucking cuts him down. And then it's Survivor Series because Roman doesn't need to be in a Survivor Series match. The Bloodline doesn't need to be, you could pull Solo against Cena and Jay against Jimmy and Cody, and you can makeshift whatever. Clearly it's SmackDown versus Raw anyway. All the superstars of both of them are going to be fighting against whatever. So it's really not a real Survivor Series match as I do. Have them, where is Survivor Series? I don't know. Wherever. Don't look it up. Please do not. But wherever.
It's Chicago. Because of the whole Punk thing.
Huh. So if it's in Chicago, and it is, and I didn't even know that really.
Okay.
Wouldn't Punk LA Knight, after LA Knight loses, WWE is given what they want here, and I'm not being nationalist or anything. In America, the number one guy selling shit everywhere gets decimated by Roman. If he's coming to WWE. I don't believe that yet. He calls out LA Knight for being a complete cockbag that he is. And then that gives Punk something to do with LA Knight for a while to get him back in WWE graces. The promos there will be promos of the year.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why it's got to be within, and I know it's been a month long, kind of. They've passed, they looked at each other, but it's the full push has been about 2 weeks. Why so fast? Why can't this cook and do it over here? Listen, I don't know what the pop's going to be in Saudi Arabia. I don't live there. I've never been there. I don't care to be there. Whatever. Again, that's not. I just don't want to go there. I'd rather go to Dublin and drink with Becky. I'm just like, what is it pop really going to be if or he doesn't win or whatever? Yes, he's selling worldwide, number one.
To me, I think it goes back to the point I already brought up.
You're an asshole. You got the point right.
I'm just responding because think about this. WWE's checking the boxes now of I'm giving you what you want. It's immediately what you want because it's been 2 months since SummerSlam, and you guys, that's when it all really kicked off for LA Knight. We've been gradually building, but they're trying to play the game of show me you actually care about him on our time. Not when it's convenient for you. That's hook, line, sinker, what I think it is with these guys. Now, I want to go back to your point about Survivor Series, because I've already spun off different scenarios with this at Survivor Series. If Orton comes back and he's Roman's Rumble match.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker. And everybody's going to buy that because Orton's going to go through the bloodline. He's going to go through Jimmy on SmackDown, and he's going to beat Solo at whatever bumfuck nowhere December pay-per-views out there. Then it's Roman. If Punk comes back, neither of them are touching Roman because it's going to be Randy comes out, and then Punk comes out, all Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson at All In or All Out 2021. And then your WrestleMania match is Orton Punk in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And that's how you build that. So.
And then let me just stir the pot. Listen, we don't have a lot more to talk about WWE besides predictions. Because there was, as he said in segment 1, promo heavy, I do have one more person to shit on. Realize today for you guys, it's 6 o'clock. LA Knight's next match is against Bob Jones.
Yeah.
To climb back into US and or IC, wherever. Title. And that's going to be where he gets over more. And Mark, we're like, all right, I respect that. This is just exactly what you said. Let's see, and then we'll give him the mid title. Then you better fucking continue to buy his shit as the mid title holder.
Yep.
If you don't, he'll never sniff that title again.
Oh yeah. Well, and if it backfires on them though, let's play devil's advocate here. If it backfires and fucking besides you and I, everybody tunes in to fucking Crown Jewel. And they have the highest rated Crown Jewel they've ever had, where they've had live watchers for the first time in history, the highest rated. They've fucked. Yeah. I don't know what. It's either you've put them against Roman, or you got to move them to Raw and cancel any plans you have on Raw through WrestleMania and make him the guy for Raw against Rollins or Drew or whoever's floating around as a champion.
Right.
He's your guy. So you're playing a very fine line here, and they're trying to play bluff with people. If you're pushing the merch, I hate to tell you, I think WWE could lose this. Even if LA Knight doesn't win the title, they could lose this very quickly.
Yeah. That's not to say that's my point. Yes, he could be, and people have said this on TikTok and everything, which I sometimes, he could instantly be just that guy that says, yeah.
Yeah. And that's all he needs to do. But that's all he needs to do is, yeah, and let me talk to you. Throw a couple barbs.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, let's go to this point too. He's that guy who we're probably sitting back and saying, well, wish we had him 10 years ago, because nothing against him. He's better shape than I am, and I'm 5 years younger than him. But he's up there. Can he be as effective? Or is this like an Austin run where it's 7 years of amazement? And I'm not comparing him to Austin, guys. Calm down. Don't get your pitchforks and all that, because you already have him against Mark. Don't come after me now.
He's not a good guy.
All I'm saying is, we had Austin for 6 years, and he really caught fire for 7 of them, or 6 of them. So is that LA Knights where he's just on fire for 5 years and he's something special and draws people in, and then poof, he's just gone.
Yeah. The next one I'm going to shit on as we shift to Raw. Listen, we're not breaking this down. We're going to get to the pay-per-view predictions real quick.
To the shit.
Raw was horrible. Absolutely. Goddamn horrible. And I won at an event. I want to sing. I want to do everything. Again, this is TV-wise. Most of my wrestling is TV-wise. I am so sick of Seth Rollins, too. Every time. Coming out to the ring, yes. That's your entrance.
Yeah.
When you cut it off, it's done. We don't, and people are going to shit on me for this. We're not singing Judas in the middle of the fucking match for Jericho. We're not singing Sammy's, because everybody loves Sammy's song too.
Yeah.
This goddamn song doesn't need to be sung as much. Seth takes a shit. Whoa. Seth blows his nose. Whoa. I'm tired of so much. It's just like every match with Seth, it is the same. Him and LA Knight should have a battle off, and I gave Jenks a look. Mm-hmm. That could probably be the possibility. We don't think so, but it could be. I was just an old man this week. Like, things like this just got under my skin. I'm like, everybody does it way too much now. It didn't happen for the longest time. We got it a little bit of, and I know it's two complete different things. We got a little bit brought back with Judas, and we get a couple here, we get a couple there. Everybody now. Yeah. Everybody is doing something. And Seth is just, listen, I hope Seth loses to Drew McIntyre so we don't hear it for a while.
Right.
I don't know. Was I just pissy pants this week?
With Seth, it's difficult because I kind of agree with you. The O's kind of take you out of it in a promo. And like at the end, okay, you're singing my song, da 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 da. But it's a call and response, but to me it's just kind of like, it is what it is. But maybe that's because Seth, I want my old Seth back. I want Seth Rollins that shows up on a takeover and just like, this is called takeover, right? And I'm taking this thing over, and he's going for Triple H. He's going for the throat. I think it's the character of Seth that we don't know. And we're also playing in the armor has been damaged type Seth Rollins now. So how can I sing his song if he's going to lose type mentality? This is not where you were going, but to me, it's how do I sing his song when it's been the same song, but now he's damaged, and I don't believe my champion can carry forward. But on the other side of that, it's the same song and the same song and dance every single week.
Yeah.
You can make that point with LA Knight, but LA Knight gets creative with it. For Seth, it's always stop and listen to them sing my song. And then he leads them for a couple minutes. That's great. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
I'm going to shit on it.
Be creative.
Quick then too. At some point, I don't care who it's been over the last 6 months, punch them. Don't let them sing the song. No, they let them fucking sing the song.
The only one that's done it effectively was Finn Balor, where he kept attacking him during the when he came out. He kept attacking him, kept doing that. With Drew, I'm like,
is he even there?
Headbutt him. Do something. Make it work. Make something happen here. I don't know.
I do have two more things because I forgot. I scrolled through my notes.
Go for it.
I love Chelsea and Piper as a Hart Foundation.
That was so funny.
The match sucked. The match
wasn't great, and then trying to put it over Candy Corn as thumbtacks was a little too much, but the dressing up as the Hart Foundation was really spot on. Props to whoever did Chelsea's hair to make it look like Bret Hart's.
Right. Secondly, we were high on Gable, and I still think in time it's going to be Gable. We're going to get some kind of cockamamie match or something. Man, wouldn't the Miz beating Gunther be awesome? And I used awesome, just not even a pun. I'm for that. I really am. That's another. Listen, I've always been a Miz fan. I really am. He has not been really around the title for a while. This, that, and the other thing. Maybe he's getting long in his career too. Listen, we've had Miz for a long time.
We have 20 years, almost.
Why can't one more? And everything he said to Gunther was he put notoriety back on that IC title when it was through the ringer.
Yeah.
Gunther has done it. Yes, he is the IC champion right now. Pat Patterson, who? God, I'm really getting hate. But, right? Gunther is your IC champion that you're going to remember now. Not the honky tonk anymore. I'll give you that. I respect that. But the Miz is always in that conversation. Why? Why can't it be the Miz? I don't give a fuck if Gable wins it the next day then.
Right.
Why can't it be the Miz? That would be just, if that, and then he walks away from taking it from Gunther and Miz is like, well, I made 16-time Grand Slam champion, whatever he said. And then he's like, I'm done. We've never heard anything about the Miz leaving anytime soon. They're not saying he's getting long in the tooth. He really is. But, are you against the Miz beating Gunther?
No, I have nothing against the Miz beating Gunther. I mean, I have another pipe dream that I want to happen for that IC title, but that's far off because somebody else is a champion and in the NXT, and it just warmed my heart if it was Dragunov and we just have Gunther Dragunov 3 for the IC title and that be it. But I mean, it could be the Miz.
That's a WrestleMania match.
That's exactly my point.
I'm not even saying that's not even a WrestleMania IC title match. That's a WrestleMania WWE Championship or whatever the hell you want to call any of those.
Oh, see, I do that WrestleMania 40 and put the IC title on Dragunov at 40. And then you streamline. You're fucking around too much with the WWE, with the world title right now.
Oh, shit, there's
so much happening there that it's not going to, if it's Gunther, great, but with Damian floating around.
I hate to say that, but
there's too much happening with that right now. So for me, you just extend it out and make Gunther get it at SummerSlam and just have whatever the fuck's happening. Just give me that match. But to your point, with Miz, it's probably the most credible threat to come down the pipe in recent memory. Maybe the entire title reign. I can't remember anybody off. Well, Drew and Sheamus and all that, but the most credible threat recently when you think about Gable and you think about what's been going on, Drew had just come back, so he wasn't really at full strength at that point. So was he really on top tier with it? Did he really care to have the Intercontinental title either? You can make that argument. So there's a couple, that's your credible threat right now. That's like, okay, Miz could do this. Miz could make it work. A lot of unknown there that I don't think could happen, but it's credible. It's credible. I just don't think they'll make it happen.
How about Gable leaves the Alpha Academy or throws the other idiots out and brings the Creed brothers in?
I was just going to bring that up. That was my thought, was Creed brothers run in Rick Shaw and then Otis costs them. Otis loses the match. It's a way to get the Creeds up on Raw. Be like, I could upgrade and make this really good.
And then Otis and Maxine do the whole Mandy
and Otis thing.
Yeah. Yep. And Tozawa is
Tozawa. Yeah. The first match for the Creeds would be Otis and Tozawa probably to kind of squash them and just take them out of the picture.
Gable gets mad and says, do this, and Otis takes the pin again within Gable.
Yep, exactly.
Because they just fit way too much together.
It works way too good. It's way too easy of a tag team to do, and it makes sense.
But do you see how we got him right away from the IC title?
Yep.
And thus the WWE just got him away from the IC title.
They found a way to do it.
Yep. Do you have anything else you want to talk about on WWE?
I'll just shout out Sammy giving that impassioned promo. But to me, that was more of him talking to things that are happening over in the Middle East versus what was actually happening on Raw. But I love it. I love the impassioned Sami Zayn, so this was fantastic the way that kind of played out in the middle of the ring. But outside of that,
I think that got him on the card.
It did. Got him to the kickoff.
What else does he need? Why does he need to be there against JD?
Yeah, JD of all people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry if I pissed anybody off, but I just had a bad day with LA Knight this week.
LA Knight and Seth freaking Rollins.
Well, Seth has been coming.
Yeah.
LA is just, I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but too much.
Yeah, I get that.
Send in your emails, cancrusher69@gmail.com. Give me some hell. After this, we will make our predictions for Crown Jewel that you guys are either watching as you're listening to this, or you watch before you listen to this, or you listen to directly after this.
Wherever you listen to it.
Because it's a tough sell to listen to us and then right into Crown Jewel on Saturdays. I understand that.
I get that. Just if you listen to us after, you can laugh at how wrong we are or how right we are. We're usually right. So we'll see what happens. And I say that now, and I'm going to eat all the fucking crow in the world, so that's fine.
Or agree when they're like, oh yeah, Mark is right about LA Knight. He really does fucking suck this week.
No, Mike was on point.
Hey guys, it is the Spark, Jada Stone, and you already know they call me the Spark, but you can be the Spark as well if you tune into Can Crusher podcast, because they're amazing over there. So be the Spark with me and tune in.
Adam! Can Crushers! Can Crushers! Welcome back. I had to piss off Mark.
That's what you brought to the table this week. I thought it would be something about Crown Jewel since it's Crown Jewel prediction time.
No, that's what you know what? I figured you were stirring the pot and getting everybody to hate on you this week, that I'd flip the script and get you to hate on me. So.
By the way, we have not mentioned this. What an amazing game we're watching this week. Boston College and Syracuse. So much better than last week's game.
Oh, yeah.
Even during my rant, I was peeking over.
By the way, Bedlam's this week. Oklahoma State. I thought that was the end of November. That keeps getting moved up here, but
Pitt plays both of these teams essentially in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, good. They were advertising Pitt losing tomorrow. So 3:30, guys, if you want to watch that on ESPN.
On ESPN.
Yeah, it's on national TV too.
Yeah, look at section 112. We'll be the only ones in that section with a somber, sad face.
Yeah, crying.
Or I'll be just stuffing another Permane Brothers in my mouth because I'm like, well, fuck this. I won't get another Permane Brothers for a while. Might as well eat these.
I mean, you got to drown your sorrow somehow.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah. And Cal Hayes driving in the city, so I will just eat and eat and eat. So, all right.
All right.
You got the card up for Crown Jewel. I would imagine as, I don't remember your name. I know it was a woman that sent it that said we get too predictable sometime. Listen, these Saudi Arabia pay-per-views, premium live events, shows, whatever you want to call them, are the predictable of the predictable. I can't imagine we're going to stray too much here.
I don't think we are. If we do, hey, surprise, we can talk it out a little bit. But if we're not, this is going to be a quick segment. So 5 minutes max, but we'll see what happens.
Fucking God.
Thank God. You win an hour and 45 before.
45 minutes about how he hates LA Knight. We know what he's predicting on this one.
You had that rant locked, stocked, ready to rock, and you just wanted to shoot that gun.
Listen, and that's been held up since Wednesday because clearly don't watch Raw live.
Right.
Tuesday's play practice. So I'm like, all right, Wednesday nothing to do. Let me watch SmackDown and Raw to get them out of the way because Thursday's play practice. Friday I have to squeeze in all AEW. I was so livid. 10 o'clock at night when I should be going to bed. I have to come in and hunt fucking lions or alligators or bears, oh my. Because I was just like, I cannot, but we did that already. I was ready to go since Wednesday. It should have been on the spotlight. Poor Nick Thompson.
But we digress.
Yeah.
So, let's do it. We have 8 matches, including the one on the kickoff show, but
which is a lot for a Crown Jewel.
It's a lot for a Crown Jewel, so they got the card stacked. So this is probably going to be a lengthy one, guys. So if you are watching live or whenever you're watching it, get settled in because it's going to be a doozy unless there's a lot of quick matches up in this one. But we'll see. We'll go kickoff match. I know how this one's going to go. Sami Zayn, JD McDonough. I'm going Sami. There's no way he's losing that. All right. Let's just do the women's world title right off the bat because I think this is the one that's least appealing of the two, and that's nothing against them, but it's a fatal 5-way. It's Rhea, Nia, Shayna, Zoe, and Raquel. Who you got?
I'm taking Rhea. Without a doubt, I'm taking Rhea to win this.
Agreed.
Okay.
100% agree.
I do not shenanigans as like Dom will probably be there, but
yeah,
I just think it ends up Rhea Nia kind of doing a face-to-face, and that'll be the focal point, I guess, of the story.
Yeah.
Again, Nia and Shayna do have history, so I think there's a little scuffle there. We said it last week. Zoe's in probably to
get the fall.
Get decimated.
Yeah.
Because nobody has faith in Raquel yet. I think she's lingering until Liv comes back and they get another tag team title.
Yep.
Maybe. But
I could see that. And Liv's coming back soon, according to reports. So
right.
Yeah.
Do we get any I'll ruin this right now. And I don't even mean just in this match, but do we get any surprises at Saudi?
I don't think in Saudi we do. They're not ones to pull surprises out at Saudi. I mean, okay, yes, they did the Undertaker winning that, whatever the fuck that tournament was, to set up him and AJ. But that was to set up him and AJ. Well, that's what I'm getting to. Is the Undertaker, they want Undertaker over there. So that technically was a return of sorts because he's part-time at that point. Outside of that, there's
right now, too.
Yeah, so he could show up. But to that point, there's no fucking... I just don't see any returns happening at this point. I mean, they're not booking that.
Where do they fit in?
Exactly. There's just nothing that, unless they do a quick segment or something to have them come through and all that, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Okay. Let's go to let's do the U.S. Championship. So U.S. Champion Ray versus Logan Paul. I'm just going to go out on a limb. It's Logan Paul. I think Logan's winning this title.
I do too, and I think it's because of the opposite reason that LA Knights, we already ruined LA and Roman for me.
Yeah.
Because they're going to give him a title. They don't want and I'm saying this meanly, and it sounds bad, and I will always cover my trails because of this. They don't want the repercussions of having it happen in Chicago or in Dallas or wherever, because people are going to be pissed. But I think it's going to be amazing, actually. I'm excited if Logan gets a title and we see him more. I think we see him until WrestleMania now. I think he's an attraction, maybe not on Raw or SmackDown or whatever every week, but I think he's going to be on Survivor Series and then whatever December is. Of course, Royal Rumble. He always shows up Royal Rumble, even if it's in the match.
Yeah.
Maybe he loses it then, but he's still going to be lingering because he's going to have a WrestleMania moment again.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, if they go like they did in the past for Survivor Series, we know it's SmackDown versus Raw. That's what they're building up to between these two. Logan Paul versus Gunther for the mid-card titles. You might not like it, but it's probably something, you know what? Hey, it's different. It's better than Gunther Ray because we've already seen that.
Right.
So Logan getting smacked around in Chicago and losing?
Oh, yeah.
People would love that.
Gunther turns babyface.
Gunther's babyface for one night only just to smack around Logan Paul and have him lose. I
really hope. I hope it's not complete brand split. Survivor Series. I think
they have to.
Hogan picking Earthquake and Tugboat, and not that he ever had Earthquake, but you know what I'm saying. When you actually pick your friends to be on your team, man, that was Survivor Series. We're gonna shit on Survivor Series for the next month because it is time. It's not as good as Survivor Series as ever was.
Survivor Series stopped being good 2007-ish, 8-ish, right around there. There was a couple, don't get me wrong, there was a couple great matches after that, like the Authority versus Cena's team. And like when Roman took the sweep, won it for his team down 3-1 or whatever it was. There was a couple great Survivor Series tag matches, but the whole event as a whole really hasn't had that mystique to it since then. They've tried, but again, it's been terrible booking, and we decided to have a draft a month before, so there's no real loyalty there.
Right.
Like this time, it's at least
there's no draft.
We had a draft back in April, so people have been here for more than 6 months and actually care about the brand.
Right.
But
you would think.
But we're digressing, so let's get away from that. Let's go back to what we were talking about. Let's go Cody and Damian Priest. Who we got?
I think there's two titles changing hands.
Okay.
I will continue to say this with Priest until he gets it. Cody wins this match, and I think it's the first match on the main card.
Okay. And then, fair enough. I'm going to go Cody on this match. I don't know if he's getting a world title or not, but we'll get there when we get there. But I'm going Cody on this match. So, let's go to a special attraction match, if you will. John Cena versus Solo. So, I think it's Solo that's getting this win because I think John Cena's riding off into the sunset.
I'm very 50-50 on this match.
Yeah.
I really am. Because of Cena didn't guarantee a win. Cena didn't say this. Cena didn't say this. I understand Cena could go back and just completely skip this, and he's got acting shit set up, and, because all of that's back in motion now. Is Cena booked farther? Like, it was only like 8 weeks, and now it's definitely longer than that.
Well, to that point, though, the actor strike's still going on, so he technically doesn't have work right now.
Right. The writers are back, but the actors, whatever.
The producers are still going, yeah.
So he doesn't have work, but whatever. Some stuff he's got work.
Yeah.
So does he get a win to knock this off? I don't think so either. I think we're going to see Cena go down to a path of, you remember when he couldn't get on WrestleMania, so he bought a ticket and he sat in the front row,
waiting for the Undertaker and that, yeah.
This is essentially that rehash, but he can't win. So now he's going to, I don't know, maybe next month he takes on JD McDonough and he loses. He's going to have to fight like Barry Horowitz because he's right next to me.
Maybe,
not the real guy, the pitcher. Like he's going to.
He has to fight the pitcher, Barry Horowitz.
Barry Horowitz, and he loses. Yeah,
that's even stronger than Barry Horowitz. So
right, but I think that story is now engulfed into people's mind. Will Cena ever win again? And who is going to be the person that Cena wins against? We've talked about this on Ask Can Crushers again. I wish I would write these shit names down, and I don't mean that mean against people. This is Solo's big win.
Yeah.
That he's kind of, because this is going to be something big for Solo. He beats John Cena. No matter if he's on a continuous losing streak,
he beats John
it's
Cena.
Still John Cena. And I think there's hooker by crook in this though too.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a statement to be made with Jimmy in that. I'll also say Cena's WrestleMania match is probably 100% LA Knight. And to your point, even though you don't like him, LA Knight's probably going to win that to kind of get even more machismo about it. Yeah.
But that makes sense to me.
Right. Not getting the title now, but.
Right.
Which makes sense. And he'll probably do more with it than whatever the hell Austin Theory's been doing with it. Squandering that.
Right.
So, we'll go forward. All right. Let's jump to the WWE Women's Championship. It's Io Sky versus Bianca. Who you got?
I'm taking Io. I got Io. I think there's a bigger jaded person in the future for Bianca, maybe. That's a subtle hint or pun or something like that. I just don't see how. What do we do with Bianca then? I mean, I think there's way too many storylines. When are we getting Io Bailey? Like that's what I'm thinking the payoff is. Or maybe Bianca wins via disqualification because Bailey gets involved, and then that sets up Io Bailey. Then I'm not saying Bailey's going to beat Io, but this break with Damage Control, I think, is soon. It's just so much has happened and continues to happen, and it's always Bailey and Io. You're going Bianca, aren't you?
I am. Because I think they're setting up Charlotte and Bianca at WrestleMania, and you have to get one of them the title before then. How do you get the title off of her? It's one-on-one with Io. You set it up where Bailey hits Io in the match. Io loses the title. Now you have Bailey, Io. You can go down that rabbit hole. Bianca, Charlotte, you can put off until Mania and kind of play the will they, won't they type game. Because then Bianca will defend against Asuka, who she lost the title to, clears that hurdle at like Rumble. I don't want Charlotte to win the Rumble, but Charlotte finds some way to become the number one contender to Bianca's title, and that's your WrestleMania match.
Becky wins Rumble.
Becky wins Rumble, faces Rhea. Charlotte
Elimination Chamber
goes after Bianca. And there's your match. Because to me, it's Charlotte putting over Rhea last year, Bianca this year. And that's how their game plan has always been. That's why they keep flirting with each other. They're in the same program. They're teaming in a tenuous relationship type thing where Charlotte's only there for a title shot and a win, but they're going to be friends. The enemy of my enemy is my friend type deal. So to me, this is how you get the title to Bianca and catapult that one forward.
I like it, but I want to bump it a month. Bailey costs Io the match. So essentially Bianca gets a rematch, have it be on Monday Night Raw. Blah, 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 blah. Not that we have title changes on TV anymore, barely.
Yeah.
But maybe it happens, and then she gets her rematch, and I completely agree with you.
Well,
I don't see Io having this title. Listen, everybody's saying she's going to have the title until Mania and then take on Kairi Sane.
No,
not that fast.
I will also say this. If they pull the trigger and have Bayley Io start deteriorating this week, there's a women's war game match that they're probably going to be a part of, and that's going to be the second catalyst to kind of just blow up whatever Damage Control has right there. So that's something to keep in mind too as we get later in the month.
I like yours better. I'll stick with Io, so we're probably different just on that.
And then they'll draw, and then there'll be no contest or some shit like that. Kairi Sane comes out and just wrecks everybody.
Double disqualification.
Nia, double disqualification, then Nia comes out and just sits on him. And that's about it. Stupid bonsai that she doesn't know how to throw. Anyways, I digress. We are now at the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre. It's my pick. I feel froggy. Drew, let's go.
Oh, so we're definitely separated on that then too. So we can't tie.
We can tie. But to yours, I'm assuming you're going Seth and then Damian.
Right.
But
now Damian's is going to be a failed cash in.
You think so?
Whenever he does,
yeah,
that's the split of Judgment Day then. Because Mommy is just livid over him. That he can't fucking pull his weight.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be. Because it's already starting now, where she's inserting herself as the leader. He's resisting it. And then he fucking fails at the cash-in. Yeah. That could be. I like it. I'm just pulling the trigger on Drew because I'm like, they've done amazing
Give the poor
tactics.
bastard his props
Give the bastard, give him his title win, even if it's across overseas, give him the title to have him run with it for a couple months.
I would love if Drew would win. I just don't.
Yeah.
Where do we go with Drew then to stir the pot? Then you said 5 minutes on this, and it's
I know we always go over. It's never in a 5-minute time length.
Where do we go with Drew? If we're not taking the title off of Gunther,
we could go down the path of him winning the title and then Damian just completely just stripping him of the title at Crown Jewel too. Because think about that. He's been chasing this title. He's been more and more aggravated and upset because he can't get the big win in front of crowds. And he can't take it to people and take it to crowds. He beats Seth. He wins it in front of the people. The people are cheering him. He wants to go around with this title. He's talking about no more broken dreams and shit. And then all of a sudden, Damian Priest comes out of nowhere and fucking cashes in on him. And he doesn't get to do anything but have a 2-minute title reign in Saudi Arabia.
I love it.
You don't think that's starting?
We're going to have a dual champion.
You mean tag team in world?
Yeah. I think that hinders.
That it does hinder it a bit, but they could pull it off for the time being.
Oh, I agree.
And
then maybe they lose the tag titles then too, and Priest is the one that takes the loss on, and that completely separate. And then Mommy's like, "Get the fuck out! JD is our better person."
Let's take it one step further. What if Priest cashes in on his own? Mommy's like, "Don't do it tonight. It's not our night. Just walk away." He cashes in anyways, wins the title. The subsequent Raw afterwards, Adam Pearce is like, you can't be dual champion anymore. We have to strip you of the tag team titles. They stripped Judgment Day of the tag titles because of this. Now you have Mommy pissed because they're not tripped in gold because they had to get rid of the tag titles because they did not want dual champions. They could very well do this and say this is a new thing that we're implementing.
Oh yeah,
and that, and then it's like, okay,
3 months,
let's go.
Nobody remembers that.
nobody remembers that. That was old regime. This is new regime. We're taking everything off of you. We're stripping you of the titles. Then you get the brand separation of the tag titles, and everybody figures out their own thing with that. Something else that they could do. I mean,
that would be needed. I honestly love that because I don't know. It does something at least for both divisions having their own tag team division.
It does, and they get 4 titles off of 2 people. That is just so stupid to me.
Yeah. If you're gonna do, just make it one, make it a unification title, bring back the old 1980 title with the big square ones because those are my favorite.
Yes.
The demolition ones.
Demolition ones, 100%.
Yeah, bring those back, and they have to float. They have to float. Not that there's enough teams. Again, not that there's enough teams across both brands. Waller and fucking Theory are going to be tag team champions soon.
Oh, yeah. I honestly agree that they should float because I like how the women's tag title's floating.
Yes.
You can go to NXT, you can get notoriety down there, so you start sending, even if you send Waller and Theory down there, Waller, well-known down there, Theory, well-hated. So now you're putting them in NXT in the Performance Center facing their top guys. Make it the traveling titles. Yes. It's fantastic. It does well for the business, and people will follow it.
Yeah. It's eyes across all 3 again. I know they have eyes on all 3, but
it creates even more eyes.
Great job. Dom is fucking killing it.
Still amazes me that he's fucking killing it.
I know.
And I love being proved wrong with that. All right. Well, we've talked about the main event. So we know I'm going Roman. I said it in the last segment. I said in the last segment, LA Knight's not winning this. So it's fun. It's cool that we're speculating on it. I think they're just playing a put up or shut up type game with everybody, with all the fans. You love him. You think he's great. You're buying his merch. Fucking watch him win a title or think he's going to win a title. Now, the biggest FU is if they say, try to watch him win a title and he loses in 5 minutes. I don't think they'll do that, but still could. You never know.
Can Jimmy come? He came the last time.
Yeah, he's come last couple of times, I think.
Okay. I mean, he jumps in.
Yeah.
Solo's match is definitely an hour or so before this. So Solo's
going to show up. Heyman's going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is the lead sans Roman for your next pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Roman will be at the entrance, and you'll have 8 guys in the ring looking at each other so they can say, oh, here's our 8 guys.
Yep.
And who are they going to be? I mean, I would imagine Cody J are there, Sammy.
KO.
KO's on
SmackDown, but he's still a part of he could still take on the Bloodline. If they don't do it right down the line,
right?
And they do it, I think you look at it as
who's with the Bloodline then? You got
Judgment Day. Because they've teamed up before in the past, so why not throw them together now? And then you have JD just running around the outside. Is it 5-on-5, 4-on-4? Who knows? But I think
that changes yearly too.
Well, it's 4-on-4 if you do. What do we say? Cody J, Sammy KO, LA Knight. That's 5. Give me Jimmy Solo and the 3 Judgment Day guys. JD's on the outside with Mommy.
Yeah.
That's 5-on-5.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
There's your Survivor Series.
That's your main event.
And then you'll get
the brand split type matches.
Yep.
So I would say the War Games matches are more blood, more visceral hatred, doesn't matter, brand splits. The intermediate ones, it's 5-on-5. You're 5 women versus my 5 women, and you're 5 guys versus my 5 guys. And then they'll throw a third match in there just to have it as the tiebreaker type thing. So that's where Gunther, Luke, or Paul comes in, or whatever they wanted to do with that. Even if it's just a one-on-one or a tag team match or something that they could throw off there.
That's if they're going complete brand split. Like,
yeah,
we think, because, excuse me, the Aldous Pierce thing, the pissing match that they're having.
It just seems like it's going there for some capacity.
Yeah.
But the War Game matches are an hour apiece. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to book that in and say, okay, there's really only room for maybe 3 matches in between to do this brand split right. 2 are traditional Survivor Series, and 1 is maybe just a one-on-one single type match.
And then it's going to tie, by the way, this year. They're not going to have one or the other.
Then if that's the case, then they're not even 3 matches, it's 2. And it's just your women's match and your men's match.
Yeah. I think it's a tie this year. There's nobody wins the brand split because and I'm not saying Pierce and Aldous are getting in the ring, but it leads to more. There's got to be tension between those two guys going forward. It's just, it's good. Like, I like it, actually. So
you don't need to win to make the tension happen. You don't need one guy to win to make it happen. I mean, WWE's done fucking no contest for 20 years now, 30 years.
So that's our show. We're good. I'm good. I'm calm now. I'm ready to watch it.
You're just living. You know, I didn't even bring up, I downloaded Farming Simulator this week.
Did you really?
And I started farming on the PS4. So I got my simulator game going.
The newest one?
Yeah, I think it is. It's 2022 or whatever it is. So yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
I do enjoy it. It's nice, calming. You know, I'm plowing fields, getting ready to seed some things. I got a lot of weeds growing right now, so I got to take care of those. Probably after the podcast. But I'll take care of some weeds and get some things growing and all that, and it's relaxing.
You're getting the whole simulator game.
No, this simulator, I've broken it. It's in.
Yeah.
So.
You didn't try to get Brewmasters yet?
No, because I could get. I'll be full disclosure. I could get Farming Simulator free. It's with the Game Pass this month, so I'm like, I'll get it up now.
I'll try simulators at first.
Let me try the simulator. Let me try you're talking it up. I've been debating it in my mind, and I'm like, okay, Farming Simulator, I'll do this. And then I realized you could get Lawn Mowing Simulator for free. So I'm like, it's a bad hole to be down right now. I'm eventually going to show up to my PS4 in khakis and white New Balances, just getting ready to mow the lawn. So, because I'm going to miss it so much during the winter. Yeah, my big old hat. I miss it so much during the winter.
What do you got going on this week?
Oh man, this week, let's see. This weekend, obviously going to visit with the girlfriend, do some things there. I think it's a pretty uneventful week. I know Tuesday, go out and vote, people. I know it's the lesser known election, but go out and vote. Your votes count, so I'll probably do that Tuesday. Drawing a blank, but I don't think there's really anything happening of great
noteworthy
things this week, so I'll probably just do stuff around the house. What are you up to this week?
Got 2 interviews set up, Monday and Wednesday, 1 apiece. Got play practice Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Friday we have the show.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, High Ground Professional Wrestling in Mayfield. We'll be there. And rinse and repeat.
And start it all over again.
Yeah. That's kind of squeezing work in as well. I guess I should go to work once in a while.
I do have to go to work once in a while. There's something going on Thursday, I feel like. I don't know. I'm going to work at some point this week, and, you know, I'll enjoy it.
Call it a day.
Call it a day. But it is what it is.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoy Crown Jewel. There's some stuff I really want to see on it. I really do. I want to see what happens. Seth and Drew is probably, for me, the most intriguing match.
Agreed.
Followed by Logan
and Ray. Yeah. I would agree. I mean, Nothing else. I mean, John Cena solo kind of jumps out on paper to see what happens there, but I would say the two that you listed are the two big ones that I'm really interested in seeing, and that's if I was paying more money than what I pay for my Peacock subscription, it would be for those two. But
shoot now. When do you really think you're going to watch this?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd love to tell you. Tomorrow.
Prior to next Friday night.
Listen, tomorrow I'm actually waking up and doing shit around the house because it needs to get done. I don't know how long that's going to take. And the length of that depends on if I'm going to see Kimberly tomorrow. So if that's not the case, then maybe I'll just watch Saturday night, tape Collision, come back to that. If not, then it's got to be Sunday morning.
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah, I was going to say if it gets beyond Saturday night.
If it gets beyond Saturday night, honestly, Sunday morning seems like a stretch. Because if I don't see her tomorrow, I'm leaving early Sunday to go see her. So it's like maybe Sunday night if I get back in time. But I'm doubting that's going to be the case. So sometimes
mine is definitely not until Wednesday right after work.
The only thing I can think of is I'll do it Monday night instead of Raw. I'll watch it because I've done that before, and then I'll just catch up on Raw later in the week. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I have no fucking clue.
I still just don't like 1 o'clock pay-per-views. I understand, I really do, but
yeah, it's just not.
Can you imagine if you're in California, 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday?
10 in the morning. That's rough.
Right? Yeah. I don't know how you guys do it over there. Good for you. I don't know how you live off not the real time here in Eastern Coast.
Not the real time. I will tell you, when I went to San Diego, I can't believe you fucking said that. When I went to San Diego, I was so fucking confused because it was 11 o'clock their time. And by the time I got checked into the hotel, it was 12:30. I'm like, oh, cool.
It's supper time.
I could catch the game. But no, I come back and Miami's got their foot halfway up Denver's ass. It's sticking a second one up there, and it's like 56-0. And I'm like, where the fuck is this day? And I'm like, oh yeah, the time zones. When it's 1 o'clock, it's actually 4 o'clock here. It was like, it wasn't even tired. It was just my mind could not wrap around the concept that it was 1 o'clock there. And that was the second time I've ever gone to San Diego, but it's just like, could not wrap my head around it whatsoever.
You're not going to wake up Sunday morning at 9:30 and watch the Chiefs and the Dolphins in Germany?
Here's the problem with that, too. That's actually a good game.
It really is.
Really fucking pisses 9:30 in the morning, and I'd love to just sit down and watch. But I don't think I can. I don't know.
Doesn't fit the real time schedule.
The life we lead. But I guess, so yeah, I don't know when the fuck I'm watching it.
Remember, just because I'm an asshole doesn't mean you can't do great things.
Mark, you're a garbage can, not an asshole. And also make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them.
Because you never know.
Boop, boop.